or stream it live at wingam.com.
ESPN. The NFL and Keyshawn J. Will and Zubin.
He shouldn't have been hired here in the first place. He hasn't given anything that looks like hope.
Strong opinions, in-depth analysis from the biggest stories in the NFL.
With not a lot of weapons around him, I'm buying him because I think the next head coach that comes in will understand what to do with him and get him some damn help at the receiver position.
Complete coverage of the NFL with Keyshawn J. Will and Zubin. Mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, and just like that, it is a Monday. Welcome in, everybody. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. We hope you had a great weekend. And yeah, Mondays are always like a lot of fun because you always have to decipher what's the most important topics to dive into. I mean, you had the Browns improved to 2-1 over the weekend. The Bengals, I think we're at the point now where the record of the Bengals is going to be irrelevant the rest of the year. It's really just going to be deciphering the future of the Bengals' success with Joe Burrow. And I think right now there's really no complaints about Joe Burrow. Any complaints out of my mouth will be Bengals related, more so about the front office. But Joe Burrow, you guys got your guy. Congratulations. And that's coming from a guy that always looks for the negative and everything. So I'm just saying, congratulations, Bengals fans, because he's fun to watch. I got a chance. Yesterday was the first Sunday for NFL Sunday that I was able to just lay on the couch all day, do nothing, and just take it all in. I got to watch the Browns, got to watch the Bengals. We'll, of course, open up with that. We're going to dive into that coming up around the corner. We're also going to do our What Did We Learn from the Weekend around the corner, which will include college football. LSU goes down. I mean, how many top programs went down over the weekend?
Obviously, LSU. Oklahoma took another L to K-State. People are like all open arms about K-State beating Oklahoma. Like, K-State always beats Oklahoma.
I mean, this was supposed to be the revenge game from last year.
Absolutely.
Now, the one thing I did say is, and these aren't excuses because I think Ohio State's going to take care of their bad divisional opponents when they play them. But keep in mind, with this college football season, you're not getting your traditional cupcake non-conference games.
Right.
So even for instance, a Rutgers or a Maryland for Ohio State is always going to be more difficult than a matchup that they would take out of the MAC or somewhere else, which, I always poke fun at. But again, that is done for obviously revenue reasons and also to, give season ticket holders a couple extra home games, Mm-hmm. So I get why that happens. And it's also a benefit for the MAC teams who, of course, they get beat pretty good, but at least they leave with a good paycheck. So I think the reason you're seeing some more top teams go down early, they don't have those couple warm-up games to start the season to where when you are going out, let's be clear, Kansas State, you look at them, no one's looking at them as a playoff team or a team that you respect, but let's be clear, it's a lot better to warm up against a MAC team or a lesser than team than maybe going up even against some of the worst teams in your own conference. So I will give teams the benefit of the doubt. Ohio State, I don't think that's going to be a problem with them coming in. But again, that's why every year you see Alabama, Ohio State, others, they'll throw your smaller teams on the non-conference to kind of help ease them up. Even if it's just week one to set up for a big matchup in week two, whether it's like Oklahoma, Texas, and those types of schools. These schools aren't getting that. But yeah, Oklahoma goes down, LSU goes down, and the college football playoff picture gets a little interesting. I saw one already that said, breaking news, Oklahoma has opted out of the upcoming college football playoff. Well, that may not have been by choice. LSU, which loss was worse, Oklahoma's to Kansas State or LSU's to Mississippi State?
LSU.
I think Mississippi State's going to be okay under Leach.
Yeah.
I think, are they getting, maybe. I'm doing the thing that fans do. I'm buying into the media hype. They propped up that win for Mississippi State because Leach is the coach, right?
Right.
Like, is that what's going on here?
Well, I mean, you think about it like this, and this is the way I looked at it. I was like, okay, so you got the defending champions. Yes. Joe Burrow and tons of other guys, wide receivers, running backs, DBs, linebackers, a lot of new starters on the team. So technically it's not the same team. Gotcha. But they're still the defending champions. That's one thing. But the biggest thing is Mike Leach's offense in the SEC, first game out the gate. J.J. Constantino, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn at Stanford, transfers to the SEC in his first game, breaks the SEC record for passing yards. And think about it like this. No spring practice. he implemented his offense and had it humming in 4 weeks. Now, K-State versus Oklahoma, we look at it and say, oh, K-State, they're a middle-of-the-road team. Yes, they're a middle-of-the-road team. But they beat Oklahoma last year. They beat Oklahoma like 3 years ago. K-State to Oklahoma is Ohio State to Purdue. That's exactly who they are. For some strange reason, that team always
was it at Kansas State too. By the way,
no, this year was at Oklahoma.
Oh, okay, I didn't even get to watch any of that.
What it was worth.
Okay, because see, like Ohio State's, at least was at. But again, it's the history of that matchup where every once in a while that team just comes up and bites you in the ass a little bit.
Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? Like,
there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just there's something about matchups.
The matchup is just weird like that. That's how college football is always built. Every big time powerhouse team has that opponent. Like Mississippi State is Alabama's. Why are they losing to Mississippi State? That's their guy. That's who they end up losing to, and we don't have a rhyme or reason why.
Yeah, Michigan's is Ohio State, but we do know why. Head and shoulders better. All right, like that's why. All right, we got a lot to get into today. We're going to dive more into some college football stuff coming up around the corner. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Now, listen, stream, watch. You can listen at 1410 Wing AM. You can stream at wingam.com. And now you can watch us live on Facebook. Go to Facebook. If you have Facebook, which let's be honest, who doesn't have Facebook? Search the Justin Kinner Show. Like and subscribe to that page. And then, of course, you can watch the show daily and interact. All comments on the Justin Kinner Show, we are able to bring you into the show and interact with you that way already right off the bat. I mean, we're already getting a Go Browns right off the bat. Absolutely. Chris Cunningham says Go Browns. We're going to get into the Browns conversation coming up here in just a little bit. Mike Nympher says, hey, Kevin, did the Heat make the finals? He said, your boy, Jimmy Buckets. So there you go. We got the Lakers, Heat. We talked about the storylines in the NBA. LeBron going up against his final team. LeBron versus Pat Riley. LeBron versus his former coach. That's going to be a fun matchup as far as that's concerned. How about Don Roberts says, Justin, I thought for a brief moment that you jinxed my Steelers by putting them in your top five. Remember on Friday, we do our top five, bottom five, and I had the Steelers in my top five, and rightfully so. It's going to be interesting to see what the Ravens do later tonight on Monday Night Football. But if the Chiefs prevail, all of a sudden the Steelers, they're sitting undefeated at the top of that division if the Ravens can't get it done tonight. Just off the bat, just out of curiosity, Ravens or Chiefs, who do you have tonight?
I have the Ravens.
The Ravens?
I got the Ravens.
I don't know who I have yet. I think I picked the Chiefs in my pick 'em just because I had to make the pick at that instant. I'm going to go change it, I think, at some point. I don't know. This is a toss-up. By the way, what's the line on it? I haven't even checked the line as far as that goes. Either way, it's going to be super good. Probably the biggest Monday Night Football game of the season, unless future matchups develop. But right now, it doesn't get any bigger. This is a Super Bowl preview as far as that is concerned. All right, 457-9464. That's the number to call into the show and jump in on the conversation. But let's open up with this. Your Cincinnati Reds are back in the playoffs for the first time in 7 years. If you're watching live on Facebook, here's the playoff bracket. Here's how it all finished up. Your Cincinnati Reds finished as the National League 7th seed in the wild card series. They will, of course, be taking on the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds, they will be going head-to-head coming up this Wednesday, Game 1 at noon, 11:30 the pregame. And, of course, you can catch all of that right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. And my favorite part about all of this is that this is a very winnable series for your Reds. Now, the Reds and Braves play each other every year because of the 60-game shortened season, and the Reds did not play that division. Of course, they didn't play the Braves. They didn't play that division. They didn't play the Braves, throughout the season. So they did not, we didn't get a Braves-Reds series like we normally do. So we don't really know what to expect from this series as far as, to go back on some previous series between these two. But I do believe Atlanta's a really good team. They have one heck of a lineup. They're the number 2 seed for a reason. But I believe that in a 3-game series, okay, if this was a best of 7, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But in a 3-game series, I think that the Reds, if you get Luis Castillo, who what you get with Luis Castillo, or you don't know what you get with him on a night-to-night basis. But if you get the better end of him, I think the Reds have the second-best pitcher in this series. They already have the first-best pitcher in this series, and that's Trevor Bauer. If you're watching live on Facebook, here are your pitching matchups for Games 1, 2, and 3. Game 1 on Wednesday will feature Trevor Bauer. Game 2 will feature Luis Castillo, and Game 3 will feature Sonny Gray. Now, I had some debates. I had a debate with friends over the weekend about how I would make my pitching order for this, how I would line up my rotation for this, I would have rather, Kev, have put Trevor Bauer in the 2 spot. I would have had Luis Castillo pitch game 1 tomorrow, because here's why. Like Trevor Bauer, let's say Trevor Bauer tomorrow has one kick-ass game and the Reds still lose. Now game 2 becomes an elimination game. Now you put all the pressure on Luis Castillo, who has never pitched in the playoffs. Now you put all the pressure on Luis Castillo in game 2 in an elimination game. I would have rather, if the Reds, because game 2 is going to be huge. In a 3-game series, the most important game is not game 1, in my opinion. It is game 2, because game 2 automatically becomes an elimination game. I would have rather had my ace be pitching game 2 than game 1, because now again, Bauer he's going to pitch Wednesday. They could win Wednesday, and then Luis Castillo's up, and that's fine. But I'm trying to play out every scenario in my head. And my thing is the Reds are good enough to win with Luis Castillo on the mound in game 1 as well. But if they lose, let's say Luis Castillo, the moment becomes too big for him. It's the playoffs.
Right.
Well, you know what? That's fine. I feel good about our chances of not being eliminated on Thursday with Trevor Bauer on the mound in game 2. Not nitpicking David Bell. This is the right decision, I believe. However, I'm overthinking it. For me, I would have preferred to have Trevor Bauer pitch in game 2 as opposed to game 1.
I don't know, man. You want to put your best guy out there to get out to an early
That's what my friend Brady said, and we were getting heated, going back and forth. Now, I'm not going to cuss at you the way I cussed at him, though.
We're on the radio, man. I just think you got to put your best guy out there to get the early lead. Looking at all these matchups in the first round, it's like, I know my analogies always go back to basketball, but that's just what this is. This is game 5. The first games are like game 5s, and it's tied at 2-2. That's exactly what it is. Like, the pressure is on. Like, there is no wiggle room. This isn't the best of 5. This is the best of 3, man. 2 games and you could be done. This is intense, man. This is what we all signed up for. This is what we want to see. When they expanded the playoffs, some people didn't like it and like, always just keep it the regular way. This is creating suspense, and them shrinking this first round to a best of 3. Everybody's going to be glued in. I told my wife, I was like, well, we got Major League Baseball, my tribe taking on the Yankees at 7:00. We got the NBA Finals. This is the time where I stay up until like 2:00 in the morning watching sports.
Well, and people were complaining about that. There's 16 teams in the playoffs, and there's like a game on. So starting tomorrow, there's a game at noon, there's a game at 1, there's a game at 2, 3, 4, and then I think it staggers after that. There's a lot of games, and it's the same thing on Wednesday. This is baseball's version of March Madness, except it's late September, October Madness is basically all this is going to be. I'm a fan of it. Now, of course, right away, there's some Reds fans that have been negative on Twitter saying this is ridiculous. I'm at work, and I get it. Like, my scenario is I could watch it, so of course I don't have a reaction. So selfishly, that's where my mind goes. So I do feel for those Reds fans. Look, it's been 7 years since the Reds last made the playoffs, and there's a good chance that the Reds are going to play at noon both days. So there's a very good chance that you Reds fans who are at work and can't watch the games, you've waited 7 years to watch the Reds get back to the playoffs, and there's a good chance you won't be able to watch it live. So I feel your pain. So right away, my mind's like, oh, stop being negative. But you know what? If I had a job that I could not be around the TV or even to access my phone regularly, I would be pretty upset too that I'm having to miss the Reds make it back to the playoffs after the last 7 years of pain and misery and watching this team struggle the way that they have. But I tell you what, this team has been very, very interesting. They closed out the season with 5 straight series wins. 2 of those series wins come against the White Sox and Twins out of the American League, 2 of the top teams in Major League Baseball. The Reds aren't beating up on scrubs. 4 of the 5 NL Central teams made it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Reds, the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Brewers all made it. The Brewers nearly missed it, but the Brewers made it.
COVID Cardinals are in it.
The COVID Cardinals made it, absolutely. So, and I think Major League Baseball is happy about that, as there was no really crazy scenario that they were going to have to create. Now, so you look at this. So the Brewers got the 8 seed. They got the Dodgers. I'm fine with that. The Reds avoided that dreaded 8 seed. I didn't want them to face the Dodgers. However, if it meant facing the Dodgers over the Cubs in the 2 seed, I would have been fine with it. The Cubs worry me. But I do love where the Reds fall in this bracket. If the Reds beat the Braves, which I'm calling this shot, I'm very confident that the Reds are capable of beating the Braves.
Okay.
The Braves are good.
Yeah.
But I think that we've seen in October that pitching offsets offense. And I think the Reds have just enough offensive firepower to be able to offset some of that, especially if you're going to be in a situation where you have Trevor Bauer and Luis Castillo and Sonny Gray, your three best pitchers, three of the top pitchers in baseball going 1, 2, and 3. If you are fortunate enough to get past the Braves, then you get the winner between the Cubs and the Marlins. And I'm not sold that the Cubs, with the way they've struggled offensively, now they did beat up on the White Sox pretty good over the weekend to close out their regular season. The White Sox and Marlins, or the Reds and the Cubs and the Marlins, I'm sorry, that's an interesting series too, which, by the way, shout out to Derek Jeter. I have no clue how he did it, but somehow he got that team turned around. That could be a team you look at and say, hey, they were one of the teams that benefited from a shortened, sprint to the finish line versus a, marathon of 162 games. I like the Reds' chances I think the Reds are capable of beating the Cubs and they're capable of beating the Marlins. I don't see a scenario in this playoff bracket that the Reds run into a team that I don't feel comfortable with until the NL Championship Series, which could be the Dodgers. And if they lose to the Dodgers, you know what? It's the Dodgers. But what I really like is the fact that we don't have to head into this. I don't feel like we are doing what we do in March Madness with some of our teams. Like last year with UD would have been different. You know what I mean, Kev? Like, because they were going to be a 3 seed. They were going to be a number 1. They were going to most likely be a number 1 seed, number 3 team in the country.
Yeah.
But we had expectations for them to go deep into the tournament. Right. But every other year that UD or a Wright State or one of our teams here makes the tournament, although UD is more capable of going, it's less surprising when UD goes on a run in the tournament. We still are just happy that they're even there.
Right.
And if they lose in the first round, they lose in the first round. We're upset because we think they should go further, but we've accepted it. That's not what this is with the Reds. I feel like we're heading into a series that they are very capable of winning. Reds fans, I want to hear from you. 457-9464. It's the first time in 7 years that this team has made the playoffs. How excited are you? Do you feel that the Reds have a shot against the Atlanta Braves in the opening game wildcard series, or in the opening round wildcard series against the Braves? One more time, if you're watching on Facebook, Reds and Braves this Wednesday at noon, 11:30, the pregame. And the pitching matchup goes like this: Trevor Bauer, Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, your 1, 2, and 3. If you're watching live on Facebook, do you feel good about the Reds' chances against the Braves in the wild card? Or give us a call at 457-9464. Kev Nash, Justin Kinner. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, high near 72. Tonight will also be cloudy with showers, a low around 48. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a high near 63. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
O'Reilly. Get more miles on the road with O'Reilly Auto Parts. A clean fuel system means better gas mileage for your car. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $8. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. For a clean, lubricated, more fuel-efficient system, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. Our Roosters family would like to thank all of our loyal Roosters guests who have supported us during these challenging times. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to keep our team members employed. We are striving to do everything we can to keep you and our team safe. Find a location near you at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at your local automotive retailer.
Hello, Mrs. Kuntz. It's the back left tire of your RV calling. Wanted to give you a heads up that I'm going to blow out on the highway later today.
Wait, what?
Says here I'm going to burst in the middle of rush hour.
Well, can we reschedule?
Sorry, our policy states that once we're scheduled to burst, we have to. We really pride ourselves on our commitment to blowouts.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Do you want a text confirmation when I burst?
Think I'll notice.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I have had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of Turbotrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 special financial relief assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba, please be done. Over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Now try Babbel for free. Just text SPEAK to 64,000 to start learning a new language today. That's SPEAK to 64,000. SPEAK to 64,000.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Limu, I love how we're always looking out for each other. Kind of like how Liberty Mutual looks out for you by customizing your home insurance. So you only pay for what you need.
Limu, why didn't you tell me about the uncovered manhole? I was literally just telling you. Limu, I had no idea you could swim.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
School goes on. And Staples has everything your student needs to learn from anywhere.
Notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to project boards.
And all at amazing prices. This week, 10 packs of Crayola fine tip markers and Staples exclusives Crayola 12-pack markers and 12-pack colored pencils with sharpener are just 97 cents each.
Shop in-store, pick up curbside, or order online.
School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 10/10 while supplies last. Limit 30 in store. Limits vary online. Curbside available in most stores.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on a rainy Monday. I hope all of you had a great weekend, had a great first day back at work after the weekend, and we still got plenty to get into. The Cincinnati Reds back in the playoffs after a 7-year drought. They finished the season 2 games over 500, 31-29, which is, that's pretty accurate. Vegas, Kev, had them coming in back. Just that feels like a few weeks ago we were doing the over-under on the season, and Vegas had them at about 31.5 wins on the season, and they finished 31-29. So just think about all the games David Bell lost them throughout the year. They could finish well above that over-under there. What? Was it too soon? No.
Too soon. They're in the playoffs, man.
They are in the playoffs. They are. I have given them props. I think that, to be fair, as much as I criticize David Bell's managerial style, my biggest criticism has always been that he pitches or he manages every game as if it is a playoff game. His managerial style actually fits the Reds in the playoffs better than it does the regular season. So I feel better about David Bell managing this team in the postseason more than I do the regular season. So we'll see what happens. Again, if you're just tuning in, the Reds and the Braves will kick off the National League Wild Card Series again coming up on Wednesday. The playoffs start tomorrow, but the Reds will play on Wednesday at noon, and we're excited about that. We'll carry that game, all games, right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. 11:30 will be that pregame. So how about this, Kev? The Reds as a team. How about, for one, Joey Votto led the team in batting average, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The team itself hit 212 on the year.
Wait, Joey Votto led them?
256.
Really? Was that high?
Yep. That's low, but
I'm just saying I'm surprised, but
yeah. So, and I was looking at some things that stood out to me, like, okay, who would be my Reds MVP on the season that's not a pitcher when I look at that offense? So Joey Votto led the way at 256 as far as average is concerned. Joey Votto did play in 54 of the 60 games. I think that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about his age and how he's getting up there, I think that's pretty good. Leading the team in average. Now, I'm not impressed with that, mainly because this is a team that hit 212. And my thing is if Joey Votto hit 256 on the season, imagine what this team would have done had Castellanos and Winker and some of the others hit the way they were supposed to. Now, that's not a shot at Castellanos, because Castellanos is my team MVP for the year. When you look at the things that Nick Castellanos did, how about this? He played in all 60 games. All 60 games. All right. And he had 20 more at-bats than the next Cincinnati Red. He had 218 at-bats in all 60 games. He had the most hits on the team. He scored 37 runs to lead the team, which is 10 more than the next Cincinnati Red on that list. He had 11 doubles on the season. He was the only guy in double digits as far as doubles on the season. And the Reds only hit 3 triples all year, and he had 2 of them. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Nick Castellanos, he is my 2020 Reds MVP, at least as far as offense goes, because Trevor Bauer, the Reds aren't where they're at right now without Trevor Bauer.
Right.
Trevor Bauer did finish the season 5-4. He had a 1.73 ERA. He should be the favorite to win the Cy Young of the National League. The Reds have never had that before. There's a lot of positive things rolling right now in the favor of the Reds. Now, the Reds, who again hit 212 on the season, that's the lowest in Major League Baseball since 1910. 110 years ago. The Reds are the worst hitting team since 110 years ago. And they're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs.
Thank you, expanded playoffs. We really appreciate you. No, the Reds got to the playoffs because of the almighty pitching.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Reds have had better hitting teams over the last couple of years, even during the rebuild. This is the most talented lineup that they've had, but clearly it's not the best lineup they've had from a numbers standpoint. The Reds have hit way better throughout this rebuild, back when they had Billy Hamilton as an everyday player. All right, back when you had guys like that in this lineup that were considered guaranteed outs and weren't looked at, especially from a contractual from a standpoint, as any kind of substance. The Reds have had really good hitting teams over the last couple of years, or average hitting teams, but they couldn't put the pitching with it. And I've argued in the last couple of years, there have been a few teams that had the Reds just had average pitching, they're probably contending for playoff wildcard spots down the stretch. The last couple of years, they've lost 30-plus one-run ball games. You win half of those, the Reds are contending for a wildcard spot, and we're talking about meaningful games in the month of September. So they had way below average hitting this year and way above average pitching, and that's just the name of baseball. Baseball is a funny sport. But 457-9464. Let's go to the phone. We'll open up the phone lines. I'm sorry. And we'll also take your reaction on Facebook. Reaction again, the Cincinnati Reds are in the playoffs. And again, Reds fans were so vocal when they were playing bad. They were so frustrated when David Bell was losing this team games. And then the Reds go on to win 5 straight series. All right. They sweep the Pirates. They take, 2 or 3 from the Brewers. They take 2 or 3 from the White Sox. They take 2 or 3 from the Twins. They did exactly what they were supposed to. So I give the Reds a lot of credit because they didn't just beat teams down the stretch. They beat really, really good teams. And taking care of the Twins to close it out. The Twins, one of the best hitting teams in baseball. And they did take game 2, but you're not going to sweep every series. Right. And guess what? You took 2 or 3 from a good White Sox team. You took 2 or 3 from a good Twins team. You took 2 or 3 from a good Brewers team who's in the playoffs. And then you swept a bad team in the Pirates, which is what good teams are supposed to do. So you beat 3 straight playoff teams to punch your ticket to the postseason. The Reds, I believe, I don't care about the 212 for a season. I always like to look at how a team is hitting with probably the last 10 games coming in. And right now you have Suarez hitting, swinging a good bat. Votto's still playing okay. Castellanos, Moustakas, everyone's playing at a high level right now. Hell, you're getting contributions from the back end, from Freddie Galvis and other guys. This is a very good team right now heading into the postseason. I don't care about what had happened before. It's all about how they're playing now, and the Reds are in good shape heading in to this postseason. But again, Nick Castellanos played in all 60 games, led the team in hits, had the most doubles, had the most triples. The Reds only had 3 triples on the season. He had 2 of them. That's the one I can't get over. That's small ball. Again, that's not really small. But it was home run or nothing for this team. Yeah. There was no in between. It was either a home run or an out. And there really wasn't a lot of extra base hits on the season. He only had 11 doubles, which I shouldn't say 11. That's pretty good. You should have more than one player in double. He was the only Reds player in double digits for doubles in a 60-game span.
Yeah, we got to just keep reminding ourselves it was just a 60-game season, because you hear those type of numbers, you're getting.
So they were on pace for 9 triples, by the way.
I'm just trying to look at some of the stats. Shane Bieber led all baseball right there with Yu Darvish with 8 wins. Shane Bieber basically got the triple crown in the AL. He'll walk away with the Cy Young, just like Bauer's going to walk away with the Cy Young in the NL. But the league leading in home runs, 22. That's a lot for 60 games.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, Castellanos, what did he finish with? I think 17.
Yeah.
So around that ballpark. And by the way, let's talk about your Indians real quick. We take a look at the bracket for the Cincinnati Reds. Reds and Braves, they kick off their wild card series coming up on Wednesday at noon. But unfortunately, Cleveland, who's been really good all year despite losing, 2 straight years of losing 3 of the best pitchers in baseball, and yet Bieber wins the Triple Crown. So there's that. How about that? You have no Bauer, no Kluber. You trade Clevenger this year, and you still have a pitcher that could potentially come away with that. That's insane.
No manager.
And no manager. But the Indians open up with the Yankees in the first round. The Indians have a tough draw.
Absolutely.
You have the Yankees and the Rays potentially in back-to-back series if they're able to get past the Yankees. Now, I haven't checked the Yankees. I haven't seen how beat up the Yankees are. They've been beat up all season. I don't know what their status is. I haven't followed the Yankees or anything like that heading into this. But when the Yankees are healthy, that's a tough draw. But it's all about pitching.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's good about this. The Indians just have a tough draw. You have the Yankees and the Rays just to get to the NL Championship Series as far as that's concerned, not even the World Series.
The one good part I will say is if this goes to 3 games or whatever it's going to do, all the games are going to be played in Cleveland. We don't have to go to the Bronx with the short porch where they ding out home runs all the time. So all the games are going to be played in Cleveland. Granted, no fans are going to be there, but the team plays better at home, and that's where they're going to have to hang their hat. They're going to have to hang their hat on pitching and playing at home and not having a short porch where those Yankee hitters are always thriving. So that's going to be their one saving grace, that they're going to be sleeping in their own beds and all those cliches that we talk about. But I think it's more now because of the no fan thing. Like we talked about it before baseball or any sports got back, packing your own energy, bringing your own energy. That's what the Tribe has been doing the last stretch of the season, and I only can pray that that continues. Question for you: who is your favorite sports team? Like, I know you're a Buckeye fan, I know you're a Reds fan, but like, who is your favorite team, period?
Oh, the Reds.
Okay,
that's the team that, like, Buckeyes is easy, but no, for me, the Reds, like that's the team for me, the Reds. I know I complain about them a lot, but that's because I have high expectations. I don't look at me as being negative. I just feel like I expect more to my teams than most fans do. How about that?
Fair, very fair. Now for me, it is the Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I am a huge Cleveland Indians fan. And I was having this conversation with my brother, said, would you give up Ohio State never winning another national championship for the Cleveland Indians to win a World Series this year? My immediate answer was yes.
For me, yes, too, just because, I mean, look, it's so rare to win a World Series. I mean, look, Ohio State's averaging a title a decade at this point. So, yeah, I mean, they won in the 2000s, they won in the 2010s, and they might kick off the 2020s with a national championship. And that's, again, yes, I love when the Buckeyes win a championship. But you're right. I think when Schlemmer and I did a topic similar to this about, what's the one team? If you could pick one of your favorite teams to win a championship, and it meant all your other favorite teams would never win one, which team would you pick? And I said this years ago with Schlemmer. I said, the Cincinnati Reds. I think for one, the city is just way more. To me, well, Columbus is great too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying we see Ohio State's always in contention for one,
right?
And it's always special when they win one, but we know, like, as Buckeye fans, we're not fearing that we're far off from winning another one. Like, we always feel like we're a year away from. We're always feeling like we're months away. We always feel like it's coming up. With the Reds, we're averaging one good team a decade. Like, and let's be clear, this might be it for a while. This team, this year, next year, and the year after, I think we're back to hitting the reset button again here in a few years. And then we're going to have to wait another 5 before we get another contender. So I think that for me, the Reds World Series would mean more than a Buckeye championship or, I don't know, but a Browns Super Bowl would be pretty special too. But I'm going to stick with the Reds because I've been a Reds fan longer than any of the other teams that I've been a fan of. Them and Ohio State pretty much the same, but you know what I mean. So yeah, the Reds. But yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, man. I think I've told this story before. My grandmother basically made me and my brother be Cleveland Indians fans because we grew up being Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Really, I wasn't like a big Cavs fan until like the Mark Price years. Till Mark Price was basically on his last leg, and then they transitioned to Terrell Brandon and everything like that. So she basically forced us to be Indians fans by taking us to the games at Old Municipal Stadium. Tickets were like $5. I'm talking like Corey Snyder was playing out there for the Cleveland Indians, and they were so bad. But she took us to a ton of games in the summertime, and it all paid off in the 90s where they made it to 2 World Series and unfortunately lost both of them and then lost again most recently. So out of all the teams that I root for, I feel the most fanish about the Cleveland Indians. Like, I'm very rational how I view the Buckeyes. I'm very rational how I view my Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm rational about the Cleveland Indians, but like, I feel like a fan when I'm watching them. I feel like I'm watching football, and that's the team that I root for when I'm watching other stuff. But I am a bona fide fan when I'm watching the Cleveland Indians play, and they got a tough matchup with the Yankees. One of my best friends, he's a Yankees fan, so him and I are always going at, he's always going at me because they have like 1 million championships, and we don't have any in my lifetime. So That's
LeBron. He brought
I'm talking about
the
the Indians.
okay, I was going to say Cleveland has something.
Yeah.
So
Bron brought it home.
So you're looking at the bracket. If you're watching live on Facebook, there's the bracket again. The Indians and the Yankees will meet up in the American League Wildcard Series. You have the Reds and the Braves in the National League Wildcard Series, and of course you can catch the Braves and the Reds right here on 1410 ESPN Radio coming up this Wednesday. I'm sorry, at noon, 11:30. The pregame. By the way, this Ron says the teams they won series were already in. Didn't mean too much to them. What are you talking about, Ron? Are you talking about the Reds earlier when I said that they beat? And by the way, yes, a lot of teams, the Brewers didn't clinch until the last game of the season, so that you're wrong there. And the Twins and the White Sox, yes, but keep in mind that's all about seeding. They wanted to stay. They wanted to move as far up. They didn't want to play the Rays, and they definitely did not want to play the Yankees. So they wanted. I mean, the Twins won. The Twins and the White Sox both got the better of. And let's be clear. They wanted to stay away from the top part of that bracket, just like the Reds wanted to stay away from the top bracket of theirs. So, Ron, I disagree with that completely. Everyone was still playing for something late as far as that's concerned. Noggy, Justin Nogler, what's up, man? He says, who day? He had to give me a who day. It's pretty excited for 0-2-1, my friend. Pretty excited for 0-2-1. Speaking of 0-2-1, how about 2-14-1? Zach Taylor. What's going on, man? Never seen a coach get more leeway than him. I tell you, it's unbelievable. Let's talk some NFL. Browns improved to 2-1 on the season. The Bengals 2-1, still looking for their first win of the season. They finish in a tie with the Eagles. There's another stat that really should be very alarming to Bengals fans, and it's really not about wins and losses. You shouldn't care about wins and losses right now. There's one other stat that you should be really concerned about when it comes to Joe Burrow and this Bengals team. We'll talk about that when we come back. Let's talk some Bengals, folks. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Looking for fall flavor that really brings the heat? Enjoy a home-style meal with a kick at Lee's famous recipe chicken, thanks to our spicy jumbo dippers combo for only $6.49. Dip into your spicy side with a big helping of our spicy jumbo dippers, an individual side, a fluffy biscuit, and a regular drink, all at a great price. It's the easy way to fire up your taste buds. Get a home-style meal made easy with our spicy jumbo dippers combo for only $6.49. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
And now a game of commercial chicken brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Oh, hi. Okay, guess we should talk about something. Kind of tough to be put on the spot. Not sure what to say. But I know what I'm definitely not talking about. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
When you get your flu shot at Walgreens, you don't just leave with a bandage. You leave with a badge of honor, because it means you don't just help protect yourself. You fight for the safety of the ones you love. It proves you'll do no matter what for those who matter most. Get your free flu shot with most insurance today at Walgreens and get a $5 coupon off same-day purchases of $20. Be a flu fighter. Defend your crew against the flu. Walgreens. Not valid in Arkansas, New Jersey, or New York. See coupon for restrictions. Vaccine subject to availability.
Cleanings, checkups, and cavities? Have Dr. Chang's dental practice at capacity.
Patient in room 1 is getting a root canal. The x-rays in room 2 are going to have to wait. We're down to one hygienist.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's Howie Long for Skechers Arch Fit Shoes. If you've never tried Arch Fit shoes from Skechers, you're missing out on next level comfort. Saying you like comfort but not trying Arch Fit is like saying you like Italian food but you've never tried pasta. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists who used over 20 years of data to create a shoe that provides total foot and arch support for all-day comfort. Arch Fit distributes support across the arch no matter what foot type you have. You don't need an arch problem to love how they feel.
See all the styles of machine washable Arch Fit shoes now at Skechers.com.
You know that sound when a crowd of fans suddenly goes quiet? This November, your vote is your voice. 39% of eligible voters did not vote in the last presidential election. This election is your chance to be heard and decide who represents you. Raise your voice, sports fans. Register to vote. National Vote Early Day is October 24th. For more information, visit IamAvoter.com.
Save big money in your next project right now at Menards. Find your style with Patriot Lighting. The Finney collection has a modern design that will match any style, featuring a matte black finish and a metal shade. Save 11% on all Patriot Lighting interior lights. Stop waiting and start saving today on everything you need right now at Menards. Prices are good until October 3rd. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Bromley's for Men would physically shave your face for you if we could. Since we can't, we made our 7-blade razor and Get a Grip handle the simple choice for the smoothest shave. Bromley's for Men in the shaving aisle at Kroger.
Hi folks, it's me again to let you know that we've just unloaded a semi-load of fresh new landscape plants of all types. We have nice dwarf Alberta spruce, mugo pines, taxus, pyramid arborvitae for privacy hedge, lots of nice boxwoods, magnolias, white pines, dwarf blue spruce, topiary shrubs, fat Albert blue spruce, and dwarf Japanese red maples, and dozens of other varieties of shrubs. We also have thousands of shade trees, flowering trees, and fruit trees, and weeping trees. One of the most popular trees is the Cleveland Select Flowering Pear, which blooms in the spring with nice white blossoms. Every yard should have one. Our 6-acre garden center at 1309 Brand Pike is Dayton's biggest, and we've been in business since 1963. Come out and see why.
Contractors and homeowners, do you have a project to do? Knock one out of the park this year and rent your equipment from Arts Rental Equipment. With over 50 years experience, Arts Rental has the best selection of equipment, including aerial lifts, skid steers, excavators, generators, saws, lawn and landscaping equipment, and so much more. Arts Rental can help you get the job done. Plus, Arts delivers too. For your next job or project, big or small, work smart. Rent from Arts.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun. Looking for something to do? Go Bowling America is an 8-week fun league for adults, young adults, and youth beginning at the end of September and through October. Plus, get a new twist bowling ball for joining. Polking Bowling Centers provide a safe and sanitized bowling environment. Visit polkingbowling.com or Facebook for all the details. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
My name is Aaron, and I'm a Clark State alum. I chose Clark State because it was close to me, and I knew I could save thousands of dollars in tuition. Not only was Clark State close and affordable, but my academic experience was great. With small class sizes, I was able to get personal attention with the option of taking classes online or in person. I enrolled in the transfer program and continued my degree at a 4-year university. Clark State let me complete all of my general education requirements, then transferred the credits. I now have a challenging and rewarding career, and it all started at Clark State.
Enroll now. Fall semester starts August 24th.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation. Driven to succeed.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Tune in every Friday night at 7 o'clock for the ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Kettering Health Network Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and archive games. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Pear Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. 23-23, a tie between two winless teams, the Eagles and the Bengals, Week 3 NFL action yesterday afternoon, and I think it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty at all. A lot of the big takeaways from these games are right now at this fact that, hey, you know what? Joe Burrow looks good. Joe Burrow looks okay. I don't know. I mean, people are trying to force the narrative that he looks like the next, best quarterback in the National Football. I don't get how you could sit there and say that he looks like the next big thing. Whenever Baker's rookie year, this same fan base did nothing but say how horrible he looked, as he was, of course, winning games, passing for a lot of yards too, and also throwing for a lot of touchdowns. So again, Bengals fans, you crack me up, but Joe Burrow does look really, really good. I agree. I'm pointing out the hypocrisy is all. That's what I do. I threw out earlier that when we come back, we discuss a number that should, alarm Bengals fans as far as that's concerned. Of course, right away, everyone's talking about the sacks. I know Nagy says sacks. Doug Morgan says 13 sacks in 3 games. Actually, it's 14 sacks, Doug Morgan, but 13 sacks in 3 games, and the countless times Burrow gets hit in the pocket. He's going to get murdered. Love the way he plays, though. Just a shame he's probably going to get hurt at this rate. So let me be clear. There's no blame at all on the quarterback in any of the struggles for this team right now, right? None?
Oh, you asking me?
Well, I thought we were doing the show. I didn't know what we were doing here.
I thought you asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a quarterback, of course. He's responsible for some of the blame. But not if we're going to do the blame chart, he's low on the totem pole.
Quarterback should get a good chunk of the blame because it's the quarterback. I'm playing by Bengals fans' rules. That's the Baker Mayfield rule. So I'm holding him to the same standards that Bengals fans like to hold Baker to. So I'm just trying to be I'm playing by the Bengals fans' rules. I'm not making him up here. I'm just playing by their rules. Now, the number I was talking about, yes, we're going to get to the sacks in just a moment, but it's the pass attempts because people keep trying to use this narrative. Oh, my goodness, the 91 completions that Joe Burrow has on the season, which is leading the NFL, by the way, which is pretty impressive considering the fact that, well, it's kind of hard to throw while you're sitting on your ass the whole time because you're constantly getting attacked. But it's the amount of times that he has thrown. He has thrown the ball 50 more times than even Baker Mayfield has, but he has also thrown the ball more times than anyone else in the National Football League. He's thrown the ball for like 140 plus times. All right, no other quarterback is doing what Joe Burrow is doing as far as the total amount of throws. Now, that's not true. Dak Prescott is. Dak Prescott had to throw a ton, though, against the Falcons in Week 2, and he was somehow, I don't know how the Cowboys and the Seahawks turned into a shootout yesterday, but that's basically what it became. Mm-hmm. So you have two different style quarterbacks, 2 different situations, but 2 teams who are constantly behind in games. But my thing is you paid $12.5 million a year to Joe Mixon, and where's Joe Mixon? What's going on with Joe Mixon? What's going on with the run game? I get it. You're not going to run a lot whenever you're behind in games, so I understand that part too. But let's be clear, there are other ways to help set your quarterback up for success, and I don't know that continuing to drop him back in a shotgun, formation or whatever is the smartest thing to do. Like, you have a bad offensive line. Well, you can do a better job of protecting him. So the number I was talking about that should be alarming for Joe Burrow is he's having a hard time passing the ball, and his numbers aren't even terrible passing the ball considering how many times he's getting hit. The problem with Joe Burrow at this point is that they keep setting him up to fail by letting him throw as much as he does. I actually am very impressed. I think he's one of the best throwers in the league already. He looks so confident when he even has a split second in that pocket. I'm not debating whether or not I think he's a good quarterback from that standpoint. It's a matter of fact of every time you drop him back to pass like that, you're putting his career on the line. So do I really blame Joe Burrow for the team's struggles? No, I blame Zach Taylor. And then I don't even really fully blame Zach Taylor, mainly because Zach Taylor is working with what the front office gave him, the same crap that the front office tried to feed us, that, hey, we're actually really happy with what we have as far as the offensive line is concerned. Now, you may be happy with an offensive line that looks like that if you were trying to protect Andy Dalton, who is not the quarterback of your future, but I've said this 1,000 times, probably 1 million more times throughout the season. You knew you were drafting Joe Burrow. You knew you were on the verge of getting your that you were getting your franchise quarterback, and you made it you made it a zero priority to go out and protect him. So this is on the team. And Zach Taylor knows he doesn't have a good offensive line, and he continues to drop him back. Now, since we are going to talk about the sacks, since we are at that point of the conversation, he was sacked 8 times yesterday. He has been sacked 14 times on the season. We're 3 games in. The best defense he has faced is the Cleveland Browns, and they are the 21st ranked defense in the National Football League. You have gone up against the 26th ranked defense, the 23rd ranked defense, and the 21st ranked defense. Joe Burrow is getting his ass lit up, and he has not even faced a legit defense yet. You still got to play the Ravens twice. You still got to play the Steelers twice. You got the Titans coming up around the corner. The Dallas Cowboys aren't the best defensive team in the country, but man, that defensive line's pretty scary. You got them coming up. By the way, say what you want about Cleveland. They're not the best defensive team either. You've already played them, but again, you got Myles Garrett. He got hit pretty good against Cleveland too. So my point is that it is not the sacks that the sacks is the given. So everyone right away is making fun of me saying, oh, he's trying to get a hot take here. He's going to bring up the sacks numbers is the problem. But what are you doing, Zach Taylor, to help protect him? Because you can't protect him with your offensive line. So maybe you could protect him with the play calling to a certain extent, right? Maybe don't drop him back 60 times in week 2 against Cleveland. Don't drop him back 40 times. Don't drop him back 35 times. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, I get you have to try to win. But isn't there a certain point that Zach Taylor has to be responsible for the play calling in regards to protecting your quarterback with the plays you call as well? It's a tough situation Zach's in because you got to call certain plays to be able to put your team in position to score. But your line's not letting Burrow do that. I think you put a line in front of Burrow. I think with the weapons he has, he breaks Baker's rookie passing touchdown record. I truly believe that. And that's coming from me, who's always looking for a reason to bash the Bengals. I believe he looks that capable. He hasn't shown it yet, but he has shown signs of looking capable of doing that. My concern is not the sacks. Actually, it is a concern, but that's a given. It's the amount of time that you keep putting him back in that position to get hit. I think you can manage it different. You just paid all this money to Joe Mixon. Let's let Joe Mixon take the pounding. I don't mean that in a mean way to feed him to the wolves, but man, the Browns right now, they've protected Baker Mayfield with the run game. You just convinced us that Joe Mixon is one of the best running backs in the National Football League. Let him protect Joe Burrow for the time being until you get Safulo back, who's out for a couple more weeks. Until you could figure, they're bringing Alex Redmond back off the practice squad. Come on. But do you see what I'm saying?
I got you. So a couple of things. One, Zach Taylor has absolutely nothing to do with the contract of Joe Mixon. Mm-hmm. He didn't pay Joe Mixon. The front office paid Joe Mixon. So him saying I just paid him all this money, let me feed him the ball. That's not how he's looking at it. He's looking at it the best way we can try to move the ball up and down the field and win the game. And the best way the Bengals can move the ball up and down the field is through the passing game. You look at Tyler Boyd, 10 catches. You look at T. Higgins. He had his first big breakout game of his rookie season, 5 catches with 2 touchdowns. AJ had 5 catches. Alden Tate finally got back in the lineup with 2 catches for 30 yards. The one guy, Thomas, I believe his name was.
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, Mike Thomas from the Rams, the guy who knows this offense inside and out. He only had 2 catches. So you have a ton of weapons, and your best
for Zach Taylor, I believe.
Yeah, out there with the Rams. So the best way to move the ball is through the passing game. And at the end of the day, this is football. You're gonna get hit. Yeah,
not like this.
I get what you're saying.
Destroyed. He got 8 times in one game.
I get it, but they're trying to win football games.
Are they?
Yes.
They're trying to ruin your chances of ever winning a football game moving forward if you get your rookie quarterback destroyed in year 1. You're saying that the best way to win is pass the ball. I didn't deny that. I know they have to pass the ball, but sometimes you got to look at cutting off your nose to spite your face a little bit. You got to cut off your passing game as much. Stop having, Joe Burrow threw 44 times yesterday. Stop having him drop back that many times. All you're doing is every time he drops back, you're putting him in position to get hit. Now, I'm not saying you never pass. You never let him pass. That's not what I'm saying. But is it really smart? He has thrown the ball 100 times in 2 games. That's insane.
The game dictates that. That's what the game is dictating.
Get his legs broken. That's your philosophy. Get his legs broken then. The Bengals are stupid. Zach Taylor's an idiot.
That's what the game is dictating.
When you have a football
they can't
team,
run the ball. They can't.
Well, again, they can't pass the ball right now either.
Yes, they can.
No, they can't. Well, they're not scoring. So at some point, there's a wall coming up where they're not passing the ball enough to get in scoring position.
They wouldn't be scoring these whatever they scored, 23 yesterday, and they scored 28 versus the Browns or something, somewhere along that. If they try ground and pound, they won't make it past the 50. The only way they're going to be able to move the ball is through the passing game.
I'm not denying that.
So you have to drop back to pass. That's
not when you consider the fact that every time you do, you risk your future quarterback's entire career. I'm not saying football. I get that it's football. Okay,
that's what happens.
Okay,
you get hit. Sorry, Joe. We're passing again. Hit Tyler Boyd for the 11th time. Throw a jump ball to AJ. Throw a jump ball to Alden Tate. Hit Mike Thomas in the slot. Because if we don't, we're not going to move the ball past the 30. If you and more importantly, hey man, you got to take your lumps some way, and you got to get your experience somehow.
There's paying lumps, and then there's being thrown to the wolves, and that's what he is. Let's go to the 457-9464. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. I was trying to be calm today, but the Bengals. I'm defending Joe Burrow here. I'm defending Joe Burrow here. I see Jason Payne on Facebook, Billy Wright, and others. We're going to get to your comments when we come back. Let's pick up with this. Yes, the problem is the amount of sacks that Burrow is facing, but it's also the amount of dropbacks that he's facing as well. Every time he drops back, Zach Taylor continues to call the same plays that continue to get his quarterback eaten alive. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Kev? What's going on here in Cincinnati? I don't care about the wins, losses. This is year one with the rookie quarterback. If you win games, it's gravy on top of what is supposed to be a great future. But what future does he have if he's already been hit 14 times and the best defense he's faced is ranked 21st in the National Football League, 2 with the Ravens, 2 with the Steelers, the Titans, the Cowboys, and more? It's a long season ahead. We'll be back, hour 2 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Making it easier for you to get the frickin' chicken. Remember Frickers.com. That puts you in touch with everything you crave. Frickin' chicken wings, burgers, ribs, salads, wraps, everything you crave. Should you crave an ice-cold domestic draft beer? Join us and dine in. We have a 48-ounce personal pitcher for only $6. Dine in, carry out, delivery, and now order online at Frickers.com. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is the home to order online at Frickers.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
O'Reilly. It's O Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can earn bonus points on more than 250 offers, like Bosch Icon Wiper Blade, save $8 per pair, and earn double O Rewards points. Online or in-store, get $5 for every 150 points you earn. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, you should move over. Red right return.
Right, red right return.
No, just red right return because
No, I'm saying red right return, but then right to agree.
Okay, but you're on the...
I should have said correct. I know it's red right return, but...
You're on the left and it's red right return. Red right return.
The tides can turn quick on the water. Progressive has you covered as a leader in boat insurance. Get a quote today at Progressive.com.
Oh, I was on the left. Right.
Please stop talking.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle is your local authorized dealer for the Hustler mower family. Stop in today and take a look at the new Hustler Super Z Hyperdrive, ready to take on the big jobs. The Super Z Hyperdrive features Hustler's exclusive Hyperdrive transmission system, the largest, most durable drive system in the industry, and it's backed by a 3,000-hour drive system warranty. Hustler, tools, not toys. Visit Small Engine Service Pros at 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, hour 2. We are off and rolling. Happy Monday. Welcome back in. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. We're going to get back into this Bengals discussion real quick, setting up the week for you. The Cincinnati Reds back in the playoffs. How about this? Reds and Braves, game 1 of the National League Wildcard Series. We'll kick off this Wednesday. Noon will be the first pitch between the Reds and the Braves. 11:30 the pregame. You can catch it right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN radio. I love the Reds. I mean, for when the pitching is going to be key in this series, I really do like this matchup. I think that the Reds have a good shot. You look at, again, we're live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. We have the graphics up now. Game 1, your starting pitcher is Trevor Bauer. Game 2, Luis Castillo. Game 3, Sonny Gray. My only nitpick here would be in a 3-game series, Game 2 is automatically an elimination game for one or the other. With Luis Castillo never pitching in the playoffs before, I would rather have a safety net of Trevor Bauer in Game 2. I would start Luis Castillo in Game 1. Castillo pitches great. The Reds get a win. That's awesome. That means you have your ace, Trevor Bauer, on the mound to close it out in Game 2. Or if Luis Castillo struggles in Game 1 because it's his first playoff appearance ever, then you still have Trevor Bauer to save the day on an elimination game. It's not a huge deal. I still like Trevor Bauer pitching on the first game. It's not a huge. That's just my mental approach to that as far as that is concerned.
You're the new Joe Madden, man.
What?
You're the new Joe Madden. Unauthorized. Just.
I think we have that many great pitchers. I mean, look, Trevor Bauer is the clear ace. He should be hopefully the Cy Young winner.
How do you think he will react if he's not opening up a series?
I think if you approach him about it, I think he would get it. And besides his ego, when you tell him, hey, you're our safety net guy in Game 2, I really don't think it would matter as far as that's concerned. But we'll get back into that coming up here in just a little bit. I know some people are upset with the start time of the game on Wednesday. We'll talk about that for your Cincinnati Reds. 7 years, first time in 7 years since the Reds have made the playoffs. They finished the season 31-29. And hey, one more time, if you look at the bracket, it's pretty favorable. If the Reds, look, the Braves, it's a very winnable series. When you have Trevor Bauer, Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, it's a very good lineup that the Braves have. They have good pitching too, but I think that the Reds hitting the potential of the Reds bats can offset some of the pitching for the Braves. I think it's going to be it's going to come down to the pitching, and the Reds, I think, get the upper hand as far as that's concerned. As far as if you look at the White Sox as the 7th seed in the American League and the 7th seed Reds in the National League, I think the Reds are the more concerning of the two for both the number 2 seeds. The A's have the White Sox, and the Reds have, and the Braves have the Reds. So that's just my take on that. But we'll dive back into that coming up in a bit. Let's get back into this NFL discussion. So over the weekend, got to watch the Bengals and the Eagles, a battle of 0-2 teams. They went head to head. They finished in a tie, and of course, the Eagles. Very strange decision, by the way, to punt that away at the end. It was 4th and 13.
Yeah,
go for it.
Right.
You had 20 plus seconds. You pick up the first down, and you're in field goal range, and you at least keep the game going.
I think both of them.
It's like you just wanted the tie as opposed to going for it, because again, if you turn it over on downs, that would have put them at the 45. It would have put them at the Bengal 45, which would a couple dink and dunk passes here, and the Bengals are in field goal range. I would have taken my chance with that. The Bengals had a chance to win a game in Week 1 when their kicker missed a field goal to win. I don't get why Doug Peterson did that at all. A lot of people are defending it today. I still don't think you should ever go for a tie.
Who was defending that? I didn't watch any sports today.
The Keith Byers show. Love you, Keith. He understood it. I don't understand it. That's just me.
I didn't get that. And I thought it would be people more open arms that the Bengals, granted they were 80 yards away from a touchdown that would have won the game, that they just ran a draw and got up out of there. Like, I thought people were going to be more open arms about that today, but I guess not.
So real quick, let's set the scene again. So I teased earlier in the show that there's this stat that really should concern Bengals fans, and it concerns Joe Burrow. And everyone right away said, "Oh, real cute, kidder." I mean, it's not that hard to figure out the stat you're going to bring up. Joe Burrow's been hit 14 times. He's been sacked 14 times to lead the league. That's not really that groundbreaking. That stat is very concerning when it comes to the Bengals and Joe Burrow, but that's not the stat that I was talking about. The stat that I was referring to was the fact that Joe Burrow has already thrown 141 passes on the year. Now, again, he's completed 91 of those 141 pass attempts. I'm not really critiquing the completion percentage. I'm not critiquing the yards. I'm not critiquing the touchdowns or lack thereof. I mean, hell, he's only thrown one interception. The fact that this rookie has thrown the ball 141 times and only has one interception, I mean, that's way more efficient than what we're seeing out of Baker Mayfield, who I tried to find excuses for on a week-to-week basis. I'm not critiquing the play of Joe Burrow. I'm critiquing the play calling of the Bengals. Having Joe Burrow throw the ball 141 times is ludicrous, because every time that you drop him back 141 times, you are making him just ripe for the picking for opposing defenses. As I mentioned, here's why you should be concerned. The Bengals have yet to face a good defense. The Bengals have faced the 26th ranked defense, the 23rd ranked defense, and the 21st ranked defense. Okay, they have yet to face a legit defense as far as I'm concerned, and you still have games around the corner that you're going to be going up against the Steelers twice, the Ravens twice, you got the Cowboys, you got the Titans, you got the Browns again, who I'm not really concerned about their secondary. It's more so the pass rush with Myles Garrett. So my point is that when you are constantly having Joe Burrow drop back like that, by the way, he's second in the league in attempts. He's 2 behind Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has thrown the ball 143 times. Joe Burrow has thrown the ball 141 times. But here's the deal. Dak Prescott has only been sacked 6 times. I trust dropping Dak Prescott back 143 times because he has an offensive line that I trust in the ability to be able to protect him. The offensive line for Joe Burrow, it has not protected him. The 2 worst quarterbacks as far as being protected on the season just went head-to-head on Sunday, and Joe Burrow versus Carson Wentz. Joe Burrow has attempted 141 passes, Carson Wentz 132. It's no surprise that both of those 2 quarterbacks have 2 of the worst offensive lines in football. Now, Matt Ryan has thrown the ball 128 times. That's a lot. He's only been sacked 5 times. You look at Josh Allen, 114 times. He's been sacked 8 times. That's a little high of a number, but these guys all have better offensive lines. You could justify having them drop back that much. I'm not saying you never have Joe Burrow pass, but man, I would be very selective on when you have him drop back, especially when you have Joe Mixon back there, who is not producing at the highest of levels right now. But if there's ever going to be a guy taking a pounding, it should probably be a guy that is easier to replace than a running back if you're going to put a lot of mileage on his body than your rookie quarterback who has already been deemed the face and future of the franchise. And I'm not even against that. Joe Burrow, for one, he did what Baker did the first year of bringing the whole fan base together and having a reason to be excited to tune into those games. I'm a big fan of Joe Burrow as far as that is concerned. He's the real deal. But if you want him to remain the real deal, if you want him to remain the guy moving forward, you're not going to be able to prevent him from getting hit, unfortunately. But you can maybe at least do a little damage control of how much you drop him back to maybe do as best a job you can to prevent how many times he gets hit. It's kind of like COVID. You're not going to prevent it completely, but maybe you should wear a mask. Oh, the mask isn't going to work. Not dropping him back that many times isn't going to work. But again, you should still do all the little things you can to help protect yourself. And the Bengals need to be doing, how about that for an analogy, by the way? I'm pretty impressed with that. The Bengals should be doing everything that they can to protect him. And obviously they have yet to be able to face it, to do it without, an offensive line. But maybe stop dropping him back so many times to make him vulnerable to that. I agree with what you're saying. It's football. You got to throw it. But you don't have to throw it 140 times. I mean, you look at the best teams in football. Aaron Rodgers isn't dropping back 140 times. Ryan Tannehill Ryan Tannehill's not a passing quarterback, so that was a horrible example to use. But let's be clear, Dwayne Haskins is has a bad start, but he has a bad offensive line, and he hasn't even dropped back that many times. Sam Darnold hasn't dropped back that many times, and they're down in every game. So there, you can call plays differently to manage how many times you drop him back. I understood what you were saying, but that's kind of where I'm at with that. So, and then Travko says, just like the offensive line, our O-line doesn't work either. Billy Wright says, Billy Wright says they faced Bosa, Ingram, and Myles Garrett, 3 of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Billy, you're right, but I mean, from a defensive standpoint, like Myles, pass rushers in the NFL, yes, but overall defenses, Billy, I mean, you've had guys in your face up front, but what you haven't had yet is the decent linebackers and secondary play that's going to maybe eat him alive. He's been able to kind of dink and dunk some of these passes off pretty easily. You're not going to do that against the Steelers and Ravens. Billy, good point. I'm glad you brought that up because that's why I said the Browns, you have to play the Browns again. You still have Myles Garrett coming up again, but he was able to move the ball against the Browns, but he was still getting hit a lot against those pass rushers. The Steelers have pass rushers. and linebackers and secondary. Same thing with the Ravens. So that was my point as far as that.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Who do we got on hold? Do we still got Steve?
We got Steve on the line.
Steve, lead us off, man. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's up, man?
Hey, I was listening to you guys talk about, your opinions on them getting after Joe Burrow, and I kind of agree with both sides, but the thing that scares me the most is, kind of the David Carr and Andrew Luck situation. You say right now he steps up in the pocket and throws with confidence, but if you continue to take those hits like that, eventually that's going to start to wear off, and he's going to start to get nervous.
A little gun shy eventually, right?
Exactly, and that really, really concerns me. And then, like you said, they faced some good defensive lines. I think the Eagles line was actually ranked first by Pro Football Focus through the first 2 weeks.
Well, let's be clear. Pro Football Focus also said the Bengals had a good offensive line. But no, I know what you're saying. I definitely agree with you.
No, and they were completely wrong about that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So
what scares me is they're able to get that kind of pass rush with just a front four. Now you talk about the Steelers and their linebackers.
Yeah, with Bush and those guys.
Watch that game. That scares the death out of me. Just think about it.
I mean, and Steve, are you the one on Facebook? There's a Steve on Facebook that mentioned David Carr as well, and I'm assuming that's you as well. Did you leave this post? Well, it's funny. There's a Steve on Facebook that said David Carr was drafted as a number 1 pick and had no offensive line. He got so gun shy that he couldn't even throw the ball. So that's another Steve, voicing his opinion on this, and he agrees with you. Bengals better fix the O-line quick, or Burrows will end the season on the injured list. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to see his season come to an end due to an injury. I just don't. I feel like the Bengals fans have been robbed of seeing what he's truly capable of because he can't even sit comfortably in that pocket. I'm not asking for a great offensive line, just something to give him 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Absolutely. And on top of it, he was sacked 8 times, but it's not just the sacks. He was hit, I think, 18 times or more than that. And that was, I think, he dropped back the pass, I think, 53 times. So a third of the time he dropped back, he's getting hit. That's just not sustainable.
Yeah, and that was my point. And that was my point about that. And Kevin and I went back and forth, and I definitely agree with Kev on what he's saying is you still got to play football. You can't just hide. But I still think you can manage it a little bit as far as how many times you put him out there, knowing that your offensive, why don't you run the ball? Well, they're not blocking enough to run the ball. Well, if they're not blocking to run or blocking to pass, the lesser of two evils is keep trying to run with bad run blocking versus keep trying to pass with bad pass blocking and continuing to have your future quarterback just have his career come to an end because he's getting just destroyed on a play-in, play-out basis. So I see both sides.
Yep, I agree 100%, man.
Steve, thanks for calling, man. I appreciate you calling. Call anytime. All right, let's go to Charlie. Charlie, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Monday to you.
Hey.
Doesn't sound happy. You sound all mopey.
Oh, well, the weather a little bit here, but well, I just wanted to say thank you because I know you congratulated us Bengals fans on getting another good quarterback. I know you don't really know what that feels like.
I feel pretty good about our quarterback. You called and take a shot. It was nice today. I was nice about your quarterback, and now you're calling in with this. Okay, I'll roll the sleeves up.
Look, it's easy to be complimentary about Joe Burrow because he's so good. You know what I mean? He's completed more passes than Baker Mayfield's thrown. And he doesn't turn the ball over. You know what I mean? He finds everybody on the field.
Well, okay.
So, of course,
I'm going to record this. What time is it? It is 4:14 on the 28th. I can't wait for when Cincinnati plays the Steelers because these sacks are also he's still going to get hit, but he's going to start throwing interceptions when he plays real defenses coming up. And I'm talking about the secondary and linebackers, not just pass rush.
Are you saying Cleveland doesn't have a defense? Because as far as I can tell,
they don't have a defense. They have the 21st ranked defense. And I don't want to talk about the turnovers from yesterday. Dwayne Haskins, OHIO, baby. He might as well just went, instead of handing it off to his running back or trying to pass it to his receiver, he may as well just underhand tossed it to the Browns defense. I'm a Browns fan, and I'm not even going to brag about what the Browns did defensively yesterday.
Hey, man, Myles Garrett's a stud, and that corner he has is a stud. He's one of the best in the league. But,
Denzel Ward?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, too bad he hurts himself every time he sneezes.
You know what? I don't think Joe Burrow's scared of Pittsburgh, and I think Kev's right. Football's football. You got to get hit. You got to take hits. In fact, Kev would know this better than anybody because I think Ben Roethlisberger was the most sacked quarterback for like 5 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
And all he's going to do is go to the Hall of Fame. So I think Joe Burrow will be just fine.
So Joe Burrow's in the Hall of Fame now, huh? And I was made fun of. You Bengals fans are adorable. You guys are so cute. You really are. You crack me up.
Hey, at least Cincinnati knows how to draft quarterbacks. That's all I'm going to say.
You don't know what you have yet. You have no idea. I see Ben Baby, the Bengals writer for ESPN. Everyone's like, Bengals should be pleased with Joe Burrow. How? Based on what? He hasn't done anything. They're not winning with him. They're not doing anything with him.
In 3 weeks, he's breaking records. And I'll tell you what.
If any quarterback could throw the ball 140 times, they would have as close to completions as that too. Let's just be clear.
Please. He doesn't turn
what?
the ball over.
What?
He's so good with the ball. It doesn't he can throw it 300 times.
Okay, we'll see. Let's wait till he faces a real defense. I don't want him to get hurt, but I can't wait for when his interceptions start racking up because I already have this call being recorded and it will be documented and you will be.
I would rather Joe Burrow go through all this than watch a quarterback hand the ball off all day long because he can't throw, because he can't see over their offensive line.
That's fine. That's a good opinion to have when you're at home watching the Browns in the playoffs, buddy. So keep that in mind.
I would rather have Jeff Blake.
And by the way, Baker played really well yesterday. I have no clue. I mean, you're sitting there knocking that, but
when you don't play,
huh?
It's easy to play good when you don't do anything.
What are you talking about? He didn't do anything. Look,
he attempted 23 passes. That's nothing.
Okay, because he actually has a coach that knows how to manage a game to the strengths of a guy. And let's be clear, just because your idiot coach wants to, end your rookie quarterback's career before it even gets started, don't be taking shots at the Cleveland Browns. See, this is what you guys are doing. You guys are adorable. It's cute. It's so funny. But worry about your quarterback. Worry about your team. I didn't bring up Baker. You did.
You guys, you bought a team because you gave up on drafting and building teams.
No, it's because are you serious? Are you serious?
Yes.
Maybe if your team would have spent $160 million on the offensive line instead of this defense that is also I'm trying to figure out where that's at too. Please.
Hey, you bought a team to finish in third place. That's pretty sad.
They're 2-1. We're 3 weeks in. What are you talking about?
They're in third place. Let's be real.
You really are looking at standings 2 weeks in, 3 weeks into the season.
And you barely beat the Bengals, who have the worst offensive line in the NFL.
Yeah, you watched that game, right? Because that game, that final score, that game was not that close, so I don't want to hear it. No Browns fans are worried about the Bengals, and they're not even worried about the Bengals coming up.
You know who is worried about the Bengals? Baker Mayfield. I saw it on his face at the end of the game.
Really?
He was not happy.
He was worried about the Bengals?
He saw Joe Burrow and he's like, geez.
This love affair. You guys are worse with Joe Burrow than Browns fans were with Baker. I'm telling you right now. It's uncomfortable. I hope I didn't sound this dumb about Baker like the way Bengals fans do with Burrow right now. Kev's cutting us off. All right. Hey, great hearing from you, Charlie.
I love you. Go Reds. Kev Nash runs Dayton.
There you go. We'll be back. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, who runs Dayton, next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, high near 72. Tonight will also be cloudy with showers, a low around 48. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a high near 63. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshares. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, well, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sounds crazy, right? Well, the crazy thing is this never ends. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare, you'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-384-3434. 800-384-3434. 800-384-3434.
Customers, students, and staff expect a new level of clean. Cintas has the essential products and services to help you carry out cleaning protocols effectively. Cintas performs surface sanitizer and disinfectant spray services to common touch points, installs and refills touchless hand sanitizer dispensers, and provides commercial laundry services to help minimize employee exposure. Give everyone the confidence they need to keep coming back. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration.
You're really
turning in 0.3 miles and begin deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles, base coverages only. Availability varies.
Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. Our Roosters family would like to thank all of our loyal Roosters guests who have supported us during these challenging times. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to keep our team members employed. We are striving to do everything we can to keep you and our team safe. Find a location near you at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun. Looking for something to do? Go Bowling America is an 8-week fun league for adults, young adults, and youth beginning at the end of September and through October. Plus, get a new twist bowling ball for joining. Polking Bowling Centers provide a safe and sanitized bowling environment. Visit polkingbowling.com or Facebook for all the details. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation. Driven to succeed.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 5560 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 5560. Enjoy.
David Brandon will make an excellent probate judge.
Dave has a reputation as somebody who you can trust. David's experience in probate matters is extensive. It isn't just that he knows the law, though. It's that he cares and why that matters.
David was there for me, and I feel like he'll be there for other families as well. He knows the right thing to do.
The guy's one of the hardest working guys I've ever met in my life. Dayton Brandon will work hard for the families of Montgomery County.
Vote for me for Montgomery County Probate Court Judge. I'm David Brandon, and I approve this message.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has what you need to keep your engine performing at its best. Our professional parts people will help you select just the right product for your car and budget, like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional or high mileage motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. Plus earn double O rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh, my stomach.
Don't worry, I've got you covered.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
What's that?
It's Pepto-Bismol Chews.
Pepto-Bismol's now in a chew?
Yeah, they taste great and provide fast relief. And now you can always have Pepto-Bismol handy.
Let me try it.
Try new Pepto-Bismol Chews for fast relief.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens. And all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
The Reds are on the radio.
Every hit, every strikeout, every home run.
It is gone into the second deck and left. A 2-run home run by Eugenio Suarez.
Cincinnati Reds baseball. Catch every game right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We are live on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. You can watch the show live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. And for those of you who can't call in but can't stand my Bengals takes, or really love my Bengals takes, and really love Kev's Bengals takes, or really hate Kev's Bengals or Browns takes or anything, go to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, and you can tell us how horrible we are right there in the comments section. I mean, people don't hold back on social media.
Not at all.
For instance, this is a good one for you, but like always, I'm getting blasted. So let's go to it. Ron Moreland on Facebook says, I have to agree with Kev.
What's up, Ron?
He says, you have no choice but to throw the ball if your run game is not working. And for play calling, that's what Zach gets paid for. And that's why you are not the coach and just a Bengal hater. All right. You got to do better than that, Ron. You got to do better than that. And let's be clear, for those of you who are wondering, I brought up the fact that everyone's complaining about the amount of times that Joe Burrow has been sacked this year, 14. He leads the league by that. Carson Wentz has been hit the second most amount of times at 11. And you know, there's Joe Burrow at the top. And I brought this up because you're right. The three teams that they have faced have some pretty good pass rushers on there, yes, but these aren't even the best defenses that the Bengals have faced. It's only going to get tougher from here. And it's only going to get more difficult when you go up against the Steelers twice, by the way. The Ravens, you still have them twice. You have the Titans, you have the Cowboys, you have Myles Garrett and the Browns again. So let's not act like, you know, this isn't a big deal. It is a very big deal. And I'm not saying that by limiting the amount of pass attempt, or what I am saying is that when you look at the fact that Joe Burrow has thrown the ball 141 times, every time you drop him back, you are making him vulnerable to being hit. I am not saying that you should never pass the ball, but do you really need to throw the ball 141 times? Dak Prescott leads the league in 143 pass attempts. He has an offensive line. You know, he's when the Cowboys do that, they trust that, okay, he's going to be protected. He's been hit 6 times. He's dropped back more than Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow has been sacked double the amount of times. That's in more than double. So that was my thing. Is I'm not saying you never pass the ball. And so this is Doug again. This is a different Doug. He goes, so on 3rd and 12, you just run the ball to protect Burrow. He has to throw the ball, like Kev said. Another Kev Nash, another one for Kev Nash. It's situational, and Mixon can't get more than 2 yards. Again, Doug, pay attention. I'm not saying you don't pass the ball. You pass the ball when you have to. You do need to pass the ball. But do you really need to pass it 141 times? I'm genuinely asking that, not trying to be a hater, as I've been called. I'm genuinely asking that. When you don't have an offensive line to protect your quarterback, why would you continue to drop him back 141 times? Now, you mentioned the situational stuff. Of course, on a 3rd and 12, you're not going to hand it off to Joe Mixon up the middle. All right, but again, you mean to tell me that all 141 pass attempts were desperately needed at that point? He's a shiny new toy. He's different than Andy Dalton. I get why you're excited to want to use him at a high clip, but you got to do it smarter. And I don't believe you need to do it 141 times. There's not a lot of quarterbacks in the league throwing that many times, but the ones that do, Kev, outside of Carson Wentz and Burrow, everyone else has an offensive line. Josh Allen throws a lot. He has an offensive line. Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball 100 plus times already. He has an offensive line. So I trust them doing it. I don't trust Joe Burrow doing it, not because I don't think he's good enough to do it. It's because the offensive line's not good enough. Bengals fans, believe it or not, I'm not being a hater here. I am actually looking out for your quarterback. That's what I'm actually doing here. I think it's really foolish of the coach to continue to call plays that leave him vulnerable. That's all I'm saying. I'm not ripping the Bengals. I'm not ripping, Joe Burrow. I want to see Joe Burrow continue to get better, but he's not going to continue to get better. He's been hit 14 times in 3 games. Andrew Luck retired because the Colts never figured out a way to protect him. He got hit 8 times in the first 3 games. Joe Burrow got hit 8 times yesterday. That's all I'm trying to say.
But
his rookie year,
I would love for Pro Football Focus to do some numbers on the actual dropbacks and hits, and also do a number on how many times Joe missed the read. Because those are two. Like, those are always, when a quarterback gets hit and sacked, it isn't always on protection. It's coverage sacks. It's, I missed the read. Now I'm bailing out the pocket because I'm not going to be able to get to my second read. So I would like to see some numbers on that as well. I can't put every time he gets hit or sacked on the offensive line because that's not how it actually works. Two, these are learning experiences. These are learning tools for Joe. Like, these snaps are crucial for his development to learn, okay, what he can do, what he can't do, how to get in and out of plays, check to this play, check to that play, because they're putting the whole offense on him. Joe was allotted for, his ability to pick up the playbook and all the things we heard coming out of camp. He's making the checks to the right play and everything like that. So, these are learning tools and these are learning steps for him. And these are growing pains. And the offensive line, yes, we all know it's not good. And he's getting hit a lot. But get the ball out quicker. That's why when we went to the 3-and-out last week on Friday, talking about how can they win, you got to hit the quick pass because the offensive line isn't holding up like that. And he hit the quick ball yesterday. He didn't hit the long ball. So that's 3 games in a row he missed the long ball to AJ. So that's alarming. And with time, just like he had time against the Browns. So that's something I would want to look at if I was Joe Burrow. You're missing opportunities in the passing game for the deep shot. So these are all learning tools. I'm with it, man. It is what it is for me.
All right, we're going to get to the phone lines now. We have Dave, Aaron, and Bill on hold real quick. I want to read a couple of these Facebook responses. Josh says, trade A.J. Green to Houston or New England for a lineman. The problem is if you were going to trade A.J. Green, it probably should have been done in the offseason right now. I agree with you, Josh, but what value does he have? And no one's giving up an offensive lineman, a good one, for an aged A.J. Green who hasn't played in 2 years, and you can argue whether or not he's actually played the first couple of weeks. We have great young receivers. Unfortunately, A.J. is not needed. I agree with you, and that should have been the approach coming in, but it's also not fair to A.J. to say, oh, well, we should have traded you before. We didn't know. But that's why I'm glad the Bengals didn't pay him after being, sitting out for 2 years. David Shaw says if the O-line doesn't block so Mixon can run, how do you make that call as a play caller? David, I guess what my point was is it's the what's the less of two evils? Continue calling run plays even though your line isn't a good run blocking line, or continue calling passing plays when your O-line can't protect your quarterback. All I'm saying is one results in you potentially losing your franchise quarterback, and the other results in you just continuing to be one of the worst rushing teams in football. And Joe Mixon's averaging about 3 yards to carry. It's not great, but let's be clear. It's not like that should be why you're hiding, going away from giving him the ball. It's 3 weeks. We'll see what happens moving forward. Marvin Gordon says shorter routes, roll back out more like Steve Young, San Francisco offense. I get the quicker releases. That's what the Browns are doing with Baker Mayfield, and it's worked wonders already the first 3 games of the season. Let's go to the phones, Kev. Who do we have?
We got Dave.
Dave, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Oh, we lost Dave.
Let's go to Bill. Bill, we still got you? Did we lose Bill too? I don't hear anything in my headset anyway. I don't know if we're on. Hey, let's go to Aaron. Let's try Aaron. Aaron, I feel like we have something here. Aaron, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, you're up, man. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good.
Good. I look at Joe Burrow and think of the upside that they have, and they do need to protect him with O-line, but I think the other question mark is they spend all that money on defense and they can't stop anybody. Maybe they need to shake things up and get a different defensive coordinator. They got all these signees on defense. Their linebackers are young. I like Jesse Bates in the secondary and Von Bell, but other than that, they don't really have any standout corners that have been consistent.
Well, that goes back to, this is why my I got called a Bengals hater earlier in the summer too, because the Bengals were bragging about all this money they were spending on defense, and I don't really see what it has done. I mean, they are slightly improved from the last couple of years, but again, when you are spending money, it needs to be, what's your goal? Is it just to improve the defense, or is it to help you win games? And were you trying to win games in the year where you weren't expected to win games? Because and I've said this before, I would have put every dollar I had available into an offensive line, even if it meant going the 4th straight year with the most embarrassing defense in the National Football League. I don't mind losing games, 40-35, as long as Joe Burrow's upright at the end of this 16-game regular season. Right now, you spend a ton of money on a defense that is not dramatically improved. Your offensive line is as bad as it's been the last couple, and Joe Burrow's been hit more times, double the amount than anyone else in the National Football League. That's a concern. So that's why I point that out. That's all.
I agree with you. I think though, to help him out, the play calling has to be different. Run some screens. Do something to get the ball out of his hand that doesn't expose your offensive line, too.
Yeah, and see, I'm getting this right now. Another David Shaw on Facebook says they didn't stop the Eagles. Question: they had 2 drives, the end of each half. Other than that, the defense did stop. No, David, please don't do this. The Eagles are horrible. The Eagles are horrible.
In the crunch time, when your defense needs to make a stop, they're not making the stop.
Yep.
They would have made the stop in the last minute of the game. The Bengals would have won.
Yeah, and let's be clear, the Eagles would have won. I mean, Carson Wentz had that nice little bucket pass up the sideline that they were in field goal position. I right there, I had already started my tweet about the Bengals losing, and then they had that penalty that marched them back. So that was, so that killed the Eagles' drive as far as that goes.
Yeah, in my opinion, though, if the defense would have done their job, it wouldn't even have gone into overtime.
Yep. That too. Look, the defense has improved, but the defense isn't winning games. And for those defending Joe Burrow dropping back 141 times on the season, what has that gotten you? It hasn't gotten you anything. So again, that's all I'm trying to say. So
I will say his decision making has been excellent.
No, yeah, I'm not ripping Burrow. This isn't a Burrow problem. I mean, it's a Burrow problem as far as how he could be impacted, but the Bengals aren't struggling because of Burrow. But I'm saying, hey, overall, Zach Taylor's responsible for calling a game differently to protect his quarterback. You don't just continue to throw him out there over and over and over. All right, man, I thank you for the call, man. Call back anytime. That was Aaron, correct? All right, 457-9464. That's the number to call in. Who we got next?
Real quick.
Your mic's off.
All right, so real quick, Joe Mixon is 5th in the NFL in carries.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's getting the ball.
Kevin, don't give a SHIT. Make him number 1 in carries. Make him number 1 in carries. Make him number 1 in carries. Make him that's the thing. I don't care. I get what you're saying, but
so that's proof that they're running the ball.
They're not running the ball.
He's 5th in the league in carries.
Okay, and he's 105th in total. My point is, I don't care about the amount. Give it to him more. Give it to him more, dude. You are literally okay with the team continuing to drop him back to get hit over and over. That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever at all. It doesn't make sense. You're a COVID guy. You don't want to catch the COVID.
I don't.
Okay, so would you go to a area that is okay? So you would do everything you could to avoid that, right?
Right.
So, how come Zach Taylor? You think you wouldn't want your quarterback going somewhere where he could be exposed and hit, and he keeps sending him to somewhere where he can get exposed and hit? That's all.
You're acting like they're not running the ball at all.
No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they need to stop passing it so much. It's not what I'm saying. And by the way, they need to run it more. Who we got? Who's next?
We got Bill.
Bill, what's up, Bill? You're up.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Outside of the offensive line, the problem is Zach Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Guy sucks. He's in over his head. And why are we? And I'm a Bengals fan. Why are we still going at Baker? Better QBR and quarterback rating the last 2 weeks than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's dropping back too much. There's no way he's lasting 16 weeks. There's no way.
I mean, right now, being hit 14 times, and you haven't even got to the Steelers and the Ravens, and you have 4 more total games just with those guys, and you still have the Titans, who are one of the best defensive teams in the league. I agree with you. And you keep hearing Zach Taylor say, we got to be better up front. Well, I'm tired of hearing that. And I'm sure Bengals fans are tired of hearing that. You know who else is tired of hearing that? Joe Burrow. He's really tired of hearing that.
Bengals fans, I'm trying to be a realist here. You guys would give up an arm to have the running game the Browns have. We can't even run the ball. And I get it. I get where Kevin's from. I think we were averaging under 3 yards yesterday, so sometimes you do have to pass it. But the man's going to get killed. Look at the hits. All you got to do is be on Twitter. He got hit 18 times, and they weren't just little hits. They're bad hits. There is no way he's lasting 16 games. No way.
Nope. And then we're gonna look back and say who's to blame. We'll play the blame game when that time comes. But right now, if you could prevent it, again, not dropping back, limiting his dropbacks isn't going to keep him from getting hit, but it's going to keep him from getting hit as much. And that's my biggest point here. Is it's a pro Bengals take. It is, hey, I want your quarterback to stay healthy. Having him drop back 140 times when you don't have an offensive line to protect him is ludicrous. The Cowboys and Dak Prescott, he drops back 2 passes. He has 2 more pass attempts than Burrow, but he has an offensive line and he's been hit significantly less. So that
Justin, there's not even play action. Taylor doesn't even try to help the guy. He don't try to get. I mean, they were doing it in a shotgun where he rolls out to the right. I don't know if you've seen it, and all the receivers, and he got hit every time. He got hit every time they ran that play, and he ran it 3 times. And Joe Burrow got nailed every time. This is every bit on Zach Taylor as it is the offensive line. I don't even know if I've ever seen an offensive line as bad. And we've got to be realistic. Like I said, Jonah Williams has been terrible. Terrible. I'm pissed. Sorry, Justin. I got to go.
Don't be. Yeah. And I'm with you. And you know what? Finally, a Bengals fan is finally getting it. He's upset, and he should be. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being upset.
I'm out here working twice as hard today. I got people spelling words, borderline words,
Are you ready for some football?
Goodness gracious.
Who else we got?
We got Ben online.
Ben, what's up, Ben? Is this Big Ben or regular Ben?
Regular Ben. I wish I could have the salary like Big Ben.
Yeah. You would have been a Dayton listening to us.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just like the other guy. I'm a little more realistic than most Bengals fans. But the one thing I will say, and I'm not defending, Zach Taylor, because he is, some of his play calling is questionable. But the one I will say is that with the running game with Joe Mixon, is that I noticed yesterday, and even going back and watching the tape, which I do. I don't know if that sounds weird or not, but
you do, man. I ain't judging that at all.
Yeah, but I noticed that Joe does not hit the holes that are open. He'll kind of stutter step and skitty scat and do all that weird stuff instead of just hitting the hole and going straight up through. There was at least 5 times where he missed a wide open spot to go in, at least for a touchdown, if not more. So I'm not sure if that's part of the problem. I mean, I know that's part of the problem as well. And I'm not saying that that's, everything that you could say against, hey, Zach, you got to change the idea a little bit. But that doesn't help when your number one running back is like, okay, I'm supposed to go through gap A, but can't find gap A.
Yep.
I don't know. So, and from AJ, go ahead.
No, you're right. Keep going.
I was just going to say, and also AJ Green, I mean, I understand he hasn't played a lot, but he looks like, I don't know. He looks like he's lost out there. He definitely is not the AJ Green of old, and I'm not saying that he should be 100% because he hasn't played, but he just does not look like he knows what he's doing. So those are my 2 takes at least. So
no, you're good. And, I'm looking at this offensive line. I mean, with Fred Johnson, Bobby Hart, Michael Jordan, I mean, Billy Price has been atrocious. Jonah Williams, I guess this, I'm not going to pretend to sit here and be a, offensive line aficionado. I don't know how Jonah Williams stacks up against other rookie offensive linemen. My big thing is this, and this is what worried me about the Browns when they drafted their offensive lineman from Alabama, who has actually been better this year than Jonah Williams, is if you are relying on rookie offensive linemen, that concerns me when you are trying to win right away or protect someone right away. My thing is that, to sit there and every Bengals fan that called in during the summer said, well, they basically got 2 first-round draft picks this year in Burrow and, getting Jonah Williams back. And I'm like, but you don't know what Jonah Williams brings to the table. And even if, let's say Jonah Williams was playing well, how much better does that make this offensive line? Not much better. They need a team effort from top to bottom, and that's the problem right now.
Yeah, well, some people just need to stay off of Facebook. You're doing fine, Justin.
Hey,
you're finding the glaring issues that are obvious that some people just don't want to point out. So I got you.
Yeah, well, on Facebook, David on Facebook says Jonah Williams has played 3 games. Okay. I get it.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. 3 games. Yeah, exactly. Good job, David. Way to go.
David's a good dude. He's a good dude. But, hey,
talk to you guys later. Bye.
Adios, Ben. Thank you. All right, 457-946. Or we can do another one. Who we got?
We got AJ.
AJ. Is this AJ Green? Or are you calling in to defend yourself?
Yeah, old hobbled AJ Green, right?
Exactly. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? So I think the consensus is the offensive line. I don't think anyone is surprised by that. If you were, you might have been living underneath a rock. You made a comment earlier that a lot of this is, I think Zach Taylor's getting a lot of the heat for the play calling. I'm particularly not dissatisfied with his play calling. He's working with what he's got. So, when it comes to the offensive line, if the offensive line is going to have trouble protecting the quarterback, it's also going to have trouble creating holes for running backs.
Mm-hmm. So
the reason I think that Joe Burrow is dropping back so much, and they're not all like 5 or 7 step drops. Most of them are like 3 yard drop or 3 step drops, and then like quick hits to like an inside like slant receiver.
Yeah.
Which is essentially like an extended running play anyway. And they're utilizing Gio for that and Mixon too. I think the reason that, he's just not where you would like him to be is because of the offensive line, and the holes aren't there. I know the last caller had said that there were several opportunities for him to miss it, or to hit a hole, but sometimes with your offensive line is like so off, you never know where that hole is going to open. So you kind of have to always check in your periphery to see, where you got to go. And those are quick decisions too that you have to make. So, I'd hate seeing Zach Taylor getting all this heat from his play calling, and I know you kind of give him some heat for Joe Burrow dropping back too much. And I do agree. He does get hit way too much, too often.
And look, I guess my point on that too is okay, people are saying, well, they are running the ball a lot, and you can't keep running the ball because it's not resulting in anything. Well, let's come at it from this angle. You're passing the ball a lot, and Burrow's numbers look decent, but what are those decent numbers getting you? And you're getting those decent numbers at the risk of potentially losing him for the rest of the season, or possibly worse. So I would rather the worst of both evils is, hey, continue try running the ball as much as we can. We may not get much out of it, but it's better than, hey, getting all these pass attempts from Joe Burrow, who then gets taken out in week 6, and we might miss him for some of next season too. That's where my concern comes. Hey, we're getting a lot of the kid from Oregon, who's the kid, the Penei Sewell or whatever his name is. Some people are messaging in saying that's who they need to tank for right now. They may not be trying to tank, but they're heading in that direction.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Joe Burrow is an answer. I've been really impressed with him. I think it really just, again, comes down to offensive line and our defense stepping up. Our defense is porous. Those 2 back-to-back pass interferences that we had to end that game to blow the lead, that was more of a reason for the loss than the offensive line play.
That's fair. Those don't happen, and we're talking about a 1-2 Bengals team, and we're talking about Joe Burrow, leading them to a win. That's a very fair assessment as well.
And no preseason reps too. So I'd rather him get these reps against crappy teams before their schedule starts getting a little tougher.
Fair enough. Hey, AJ, great hearing from you, man. Thank you.
Later, guys.
All right. People bring up the preseason. I don't know how I feel about that, Kev, because in the preseason, you play maybe 1 possession in the first game. You play a quarter in the second game. You play a half in the third game. And you don't see him at all in the fourth preseason game.
For veterans, I think preseason is pointless. But for rookies, is needed.
But I don't think he would have played Burrow that often.
He'd have played a series. He'd have got, any reps.
But by this point, you're past you have more reps now at this point of the season than you would have for 4 weeks in the preseason. So I don't get that.
And timing. Like, I think really the problem with the long ball connection with him and AJ is timing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just don't have their timing down. You think about the long ball that Carson Palmer and Chad Ochocinco used to have. They just had that thing down to a science. They knew what stop and go, the slant and goes that Chad was running. They had it down to a T. Early when Andy Dalton and AJ were connecting, they had it down. I just don't think they had enough time. When he's a rookie. He's a rookie starting quarterback in the NFL. There are going to be bumps and bruises. There are going to be rough moments, and timing pays a lot of attention.
But if you look at the priority list of the concerns of the Bengals issues, I don't even think that makes the list right now. The timing because Burrow's played very well without AJ Green playing well.
Yeah.
That's if we're going to be positive here. Burrow's looked fantastic without his veteran receiver, the veteran number one receiver, even being on the same page as him. So that's what makes this even more frustrating is that we're not even like, we should be talking about timing between him and AJ Green. Mm-hmm. We should be talking about, hey, how come, Joe Mixon's not getting in the groove of things? We should be talking about that. But instead we're talking about, oh man, what's the over under on amount of games before Joe Burrow's out for the season? That's what's unfortunate. And ultimately people think I'm a Bengals hater, but we all really want the same thing. We want Joe Burrow to play a full 16 game season. Folks, he's been sacked 14 times. That's
man down.
3. That ain't good. That ain't good, folks. I like Joe Burrow. The Bengals, they made a mistake this past offseason. And I don't care if I'm annoying with it. I've been saying it since April, and I got beat up for it. I was told I don't know how to run a team. I don't know how to run a team. I'm a radio talk show host in Dayton, Ohio. I'm not a general manager. But again, it doesn't take common sense to know that if you're going to draft your franchise quarterback, maybe get him an offensive line. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I know. It's kind of weird. A little out there. A little crazy. We'll be back. More of your calls, Facebook reaction, Justin Kinner Show on Facebook next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Making it easier for you to get the frickin' chicken. Remember Frickers.com. That puts you in touch with everything you crave. Frickin' chicken wings, burgers, ribs, salads, wraps, everything you crave. Should you crave an ice-cold domestic draft beer? Join us and dine in. We have a 48-ounce personal pitcher for only $6. Dine in, carry out, delivery, and now order online at Frickers.com. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is the home to order online at Frickers.com.
John McManus is running hard to be our Montgomery County Treasurer. Montgomery County is already one of the highest tax counties in the state. It seems like every day we're being told to pay higher and higher taxes. Now, in the middle of a pandemic, we're told to get ready for another tax increase next year. When John McManus was vice president of the largest school board in Montgomery County, he fought against property tax increases. As our next county treasurer, he'll stand with us again. This November, vote John McManus for Montgomery County Treasurer.
I'm John McManus, and I approve this message.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
At Collett Propane, we're proud to say that 98% of our customers would recommend Collett.
If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, why are you still using them? Summertime is the best time to change suppliers and take advantage of our budget options. Give us a call to find out how or find us online at collettpropane.com.
Family owned and operated for 3 generations, Collett Propane and Collett Seal Coating are proud to serve the Miami Valley for over 65 years.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
And now a game of commercial chicken brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, traffic has been crazy lately, right? And rush hour? Forget it. Nobody wants to let you merge onto the highway. But hey, somebody let you merge or you wouldn't be there. So, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hi, folks. It's me again to let you know that we've just unloaded a semi-load of fresh new landscape plants of all types. We have nice dwarf Alberta spruce, Mugo pines, taxus, pyramid arborvitae for privacy hedge, lots of nice boxwoods, magnolias, white pines, dwarf blue spruce, topiary shrubs, fat Albert blue spruce, and dwarf Japanese red maples, and dozens of other varieties of shrubs. We also have thousands of shade trees, flowering trees, and fruit trees, and weeping trees. One of the most popular trees is the Cleveland Select Flowering Pear, which blooms in the spring with nice white blossoms. Every yard should have one. Our 6-acre garden center at 1309 Brand Pike is Dayton's biggest, and we've been in business since 1963. Come out and see why.
Save big money in your next project right now at Menards. Update your floors with sheet vinyl and vinyl plank flooring from Tarkett. It's easy to maintain, attractive, and waterproof to stand up to everyday use. Right now, all Tarkett flooring is 11% off. Stop waiting and start saving today on everything you need at Menards. Prices are good until October 3rd. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
In these times, it's important to look after yourself. At Kettering Health Network, we offer telehealth video visits so you can see Kettering Physician Network providers from the comfort of your home using your computer, tablet, or phone. With Kettering Telehealth, you can keep up with your wellness visits, see a specialist, and everything in between. Start by visiting ketteringhealth.org/telehealth. Kettering Health Network.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
Follow ESPN 1410 Wing AM on Facebook to watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Listen, stream, and now watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. 23-23, the tie between the Bengals and the Eagles. And we'll get into the Cleveland Browns coming up here in the 5 o'clock hour. The Cleveland Browns improved to 2-1. And right now, Baker Mayfield looks much improved. And who knew? It just took a guy with the brain to know how to call a football game. And Stefanski's done a fantastic job here in the first 3 games. And so I could beat people to it. Yes, I know they haven't played anybody, but the first step to being a good team is beating the bad ones, not tying them. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But yeah, we'll get to that coming up here in just a little bit. But let's get back to the phones as we close this out. Who we got?
We got the Ron.
The Ron. What's up, Ron? How are you?
Hey, man. I'm doing great, man. I just wanted to say congratulations on a good start with your clowns.
Backhanded compliment. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Well, anyway, I will say Mayfield did look a lot sharper. I think.
No, that was a very good game for Baker Mayfield. I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know how you're trying to find a negative thing to spin it. There's really nothing you could say about how Baker played because he didn't throw for 300 something yards. That means he didn't play good.
No, I said he played good. I thought he looked sharp, and I think Stefanski might be able to kind of maybe, like you said, maintain him and just not let him do his thing. But I wanted to defend Burrow a little bit. The 2 losses they have are with 8 points total, okay? A field goal and against your team. But, they could have won that game. But, and what's up with Betsy Ross? How many games has that guy even played since they've drafted him.
He, he started to. Remember last year he looked good to start the season. Him and Andy Dalton connected on a few good passes to start, and then he was injured. He was never the same. The Bengals were never the same after that, anyways, as they continued to position themselves for the draft. But look, Ross, that was a bad draft pick years ago. Obviously, with AJ Green not being AJ Green right now, with Ross not living up to what he was supposed to. Well, it looked at a pretty sexy offensive arsenal for Joe Burrow has now turned into a rookie in T. Higgins, who finally had a breakout game yesterday. A really good game for him. And Boyd's just not a number one receiver. I mean, he's solid, but again, I don't think the issues with the Bengals losing right now are because of the weapons. I think that had they just had average offensive line play the first 3 games, they're at least 1-2. Possibly 1-1-1. I mean, I don't know. All I'm saying is that the offensive line is the number one concern. I'm not even concerned about AJ Green. They have enough offensive firepower that if that offensive line is buttoned up, Joe Burrow, the way he's throwing the ball, they're going to win some ball games, but they're not winning ball games because of that offensive line. That's the biggest issue.
I totally agree with you, man. That Hart guy, oh my God. Anyway, but I think the play calling comes into effect too. I mean, if you look at some of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now, okay? Rodgers, Wilson, Brady, they live off the play action. Even if your run game's not sucks right now, at least commit to it a little bit to try to get deep.
I know this will pain you, but Baker, the play action for the Browns has been very effective. It was very effective yesterday, especially as the run game started to wear Washington down more. But you're right. To be fair, though, running play action when you can't run the ball is kind of foolish. Like you're not faking out anybody, but I definitely know what you're saying. But you got to establish the run to be able to make your play action effective. I definitely agree with you as far as that goes.
Yeah, and I just got 2 more things to say. I think that the NFC just looks more stronger this year than the AFC. I mean, you got your Baltimore and your Chiefs, but I mean, Seattle. I mean, Tampa's starting to click now. You got to admit, they're starting to look good.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I mean, really outside of the Chiefs, if you had to put money on a Super Bowl contender, my next team I'm going to put up behind them would maybe Pittsburgh. I need to see a little bit more offensively from Pittsburgh. They've looked fine the first 3 weeks. Let's just see, consistency, a couple games here. I like the Titans defense, but I'm not a fan of the offense, even with the run attack as far as that's concerned. Baltimore, I don't trust come playoff time. I mean, that's going to be a stigma that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are going to have to fight off. But you're right, though. If you look at the NFC, that looks like the stronger division at this point.
I mean, you got the NFC West, okay? You got 3-0 Seattle, but everybody else is 2-1. So there's winning records right there. Now the NFC East, I think top of the line there is 1-2. So
yeah, the Cowboys are good. The Cowboys are really good. I mean, they came back and won last week. Maybe a game they shouldn't have won, but again, I'm not going to penalize them for winning a game that they shouldn't have won. They won the game, and they were right there. They had a lead. With as poorly as they played yesterday, they had a lead over whoever one is deeming the Super Bowl favorites, or at least Super Bowl representatives out of the NFC and the Seahawks right now. To me, and I kept saying earlier, by the way, a Super Bowl preview between the Ravens and the Chiefs. I meant AFC North Championship game preview, not Super Bowl preview. But anyways, that's besides the point. My point is Dallas had a chance to beat Seattle late, and they fumbled it through their hands. Dallas is good. Seattle's good. A lot of really good teams. With that NFC East, Keith Byers calls it the NFC least for a reason. That's bad. So,
yeah.
Ron, we're out of time.
Hey, I just want to say real quick, you got the Kenner Bowl coming up. You got to make a choice.
I don't got to do nothing, Ron.
Yeah, you do.
I might call one of them famous Bengals-Eagles ties, baby. Bengals-Eagles tie,
Backing out.
Ron, thank you, man. All right, coming up, let's dive into, of course, what's coming up, though. The Cleveland Browns, takeaways from that. Spent a lot of time in the Bengals. We'll continue to take your calls. Facebook's blowing up right now with the Bengals reaction. We'll get to more of that around the corner. Browns fans, 2-1, above 500. I'm not going to jump for joy after 3 games, but they do look good after 3 games. Their test coming up with Dallas. They got Steelers around the corner as well. The next 3 weeks will define this Browns team. Let's talk Browns when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Looking for fall flavor that really brings the heat? Enjoy a home-style meal with a kick at Lee's famous recipe chicken, thanks to our spicy jumbo dippers combo for only $6.49. Dip into your spicy side with a big helping of our spicy jumbo dippers, an individual side, a fluffy biscuit, and a regular drink, all at a great price. It's the easy way to fire up your taste buds. Get a home-style meal made easy with our spicy jumbo dippers combo for only $6.49. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for the best venue for your upcoming event or party? Check out our VIP suite at Polking Lane South. It's a unique, state-of-the-art VIP 8-lane luxury suite. It's not too soon to book your holiday party. Call today and let the good times roll. Let us book your holiday event at any of our centers. Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, or Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive. Ho, ho, ho!
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has what you need to keep your engine performing at its best. Our professional parts people will help you select just the right products for your car and budget, like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional or high mileage motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. Plus earn double O rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm here to translate for a beautiful lab mix named Maggie. She's adopted. Maggie wants to tell you about Bobs for Dogs from Skechers. Maggie says that for every pair of Bobs sold, Skechers will make a donation to the Petco Foundation. And that they've already saved over 1 million sheltered pets, including dogs. And now you can find Bobs at over 500 Petco stores. Thanks, Maggie. Bobs for Dogs from Skechers. Available at Petco, Skechers, and wherever stylish shoes are sold.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at your local automotive retailer.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, you know, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive can save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens. And all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Pear Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Children, to get along now. The Facebook feed's entertaining. I just sit back and during commercial break and just laugh. It's funny.
Oh, stirring the pot.
Our WrestleMania main event, David Shaw versus Justin Nogler on Facebook right now.
Brother.
We haven't heard from the Great American, by the way. He must be working first shift now or something. I don't know. Maybe he's always worked first shift. I don't remember what shift he used to work.
Busy with the union.
All right, so let's go back to the Facebook feed. This comes from Jacob. He says, the real question is, does it even matter if the Bengals win a few games this year? I think the answer is no. Don't sacrifice future Burrow success for a couple meaningless games of the year. I think that's kind of how I was positioning this too. I never want to say that don't try to win games. But at the same time, to sit there and say that you're going to continue to drop him back 40 to 50 plus times a game, knowing that every time you drop him back at that, I mean, you're doing it at such a high percentage amount of times that you're increasing the chances of the amount of times he gets hit. I agree. I see what you're saying. I mean, yes, you always try to win the game, but right now the Bengals have a lot of issues that are in the way of that potentially happening. So we'll see what happens. 0-2-1 is the record. Let's move on. The Cleveland Browns, 34-20, a win over Washington. And, you look at the final score. Like, if I was to not watch that game, I'd look at that score and say, okay, they took care of business. They gave it 20 points. They took care of business. I do want to say this. I was really impressed with the offense of the Browns yesterday. I wish they would be a little bit more like, again, we're talking about back-to-back games where they put up 30 points. They've won back-to-back games. Baker Mayfield has QBR, in the 90s again. Like, he's continuing to just get better and better each week. He threw the ball 23 times, completed 16 of his passes, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, only sacked twice. And again, the thing about Baker Mayfield is this year, he's playing at such an efficient pace right now. Like, he's not like last year, his decision making. I mean, on top of play calling from Freddie Kitchens, on top of the fact that they were so inconsistent, a lot of that was stemmed from play calling and Baker's, trying to force something, trying to make something happen that shouldn't be there. Much more efficient, much more calm. It's only week 3. Not going to overreact to anything. He looks really good 3 games into the season. He has Dallas coming up. He's a good team coming up. He didn't look that sharp against the first good team that he faced in Baltimore. So again, I'm not going to do this whole thing of, okay, ignore how he looked against a good team in Baltimore, but then overreact to how good he looked against 2 bad teams the last back-to-back week in Cincinnati and Washington. But the step in the right direction is when you're showing growth as a franchise and growth with the team right now, good teams have to beat the bad teams, and the Browns have accomplished that here in the early going. You also got to beat some good teams, too, if you want to prove that you belong in the playoff conversation. You have a good Dallas team coming up. Again, for those of you who are saying, a good Dallas team, 1-2. You think I give a rip about records right now 3 weeks in? No one can. I mean, there's really good 1-2 teams, and there's bad 3-0 teams. You think I don't care about the Chicago Bears. They're 3-0. You think anyone's putting Super Bowl bets on them outside of Chicago right now? No. So
quarterback change.
Nick Fulton. You know what? If they were making this change in the wild card game or something like that, I'd be with you. But we'll see. He looked good. He looked good. I think someone confused. I think they put the different calendar on his phone and convinced him that it's like December or something.
This is a little bit before your time, but do you remember McMahon when he played with the Browns? Not Browns.
David, you're so wrong. Dallas is good. I'm not going to go there with you, but Dallas is good. Don't start this. Anyways, keep going.
Do you remember Jim McMahon when he played with the Bears? Like, he used to come in there with the visor and everything like that. He came in, he had a visor on. Yeah. And like for a split second, I thought it was Jim McMahon back in the day, back with the 85 Bears. And to throw 3 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter to lead your team back to a victory. We talk about like that miracle season, like that miracle 4-game run that he had with Philadelphia to win the Super Bowl, cash a big contract down there with Jacksonville. It didn't work out. Now he's been brought over to the Bears to another situation that's kind of really, to be perfectly honest, tailor-made for him. These are play callers that he's used to. And this is how he's going to excel, if he's going to excel. So I wish him nothing but luck, man. I mean, I always like the Bears. I thought the Bears are always like one of those cool teams to root for, everything like that. I'm rooting for Nick Foles. I feel bad for young Mitch Trubisky.
He should have never been drafted that high to begin with. So he was a lot. If he's drafted later in the first round, not as much pressure is on him. He's Josh Allen type of guy. But Josh Allen, how about this? If you rank that draft, that was supposed to be the Sam Darnold, maybe a Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield wasn't projected to be right there at the top anyway.
Was that 2017?
Yeah. You look at Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, two names that people, maybe weren't giving a lot. Josh Rosen was given a lot of talk, and he's not even, starting right now. He's not even a starter. Josh Allen looks really good. He had a big breakout game yesterday too. Noggy and David, calm down, both of you on Facebook. Anyways, so where was I with it? Let's go back to Facebook. Keith Tolliver says Bengals O-line is garbage. Not that hard to see. Dwayne Haskins looked like crap against the Browns. Terrible secondary. Keith, yes, that's right. So to go back, we're looking at the Browns game yesterday. I feel good. A win's a win. And the Browns put up 34 points. And offensively, I thought they looked pretty solid. I thought that, at times they looked inconsistent, which did concern me. I thought there were a lot of drives that were broken up. They would just come to a complete halt. Didn't like that, but you're not going to score on every drive. Right. But what I don't like is that the defense, I was watching some First Take and stuff earlier today, and they showed the Browns defense, that's what they're going to need moving forward is more of the defense that we saw yesterday. Let's be clear. I don't care if this offends Buckeye fans, but Dwayne Haskins looked embarrassingly bad yesterday as a quarterback. He looked like Baker Mayfield from last year. There were some interceptions he had that didn't make any sense. Now, maybe it was miscommunication between him and his wide receivers. I don't know. But the bottom line is I'm not going to give the Browns defense a lot of credit for a lot of those turnovers. They turned the ball over 5 times. The strip sack, Myles Garrett, back-to-back games with the strip sack. That's awesome. The other thing I look for in the Browns, too, is, you look at your heavy hitters. You look at the guys you spend a lot of money on. Are they producing? Are they, carrying their weight? So I started looking at that, Baker Mayfield. You're not paying him a ton. He's a rookie, but there's a lot of expectations on him. You spent all the money you did because you felt you had the guy to drive the bus that, to make this, a good ride. So Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Again, had a 117 passer rating. He carried his weight yesterday. He did his part. He set the tone early, by the way. A lot of Browns fans were upset that they weren't running the ball early. They were passing the ball a lot. I think they were taking advantage of trying to kind of get OBJ in the mix early on, and they did that. How about Nick Chubb? 108 yards yesterday on 19 carries. That's efficient. Mm-hmm. That's efficient. You weren't overfeeding him, but he had 2 touchdowns on the ground. He had 109 yards, 108 yards on 19 carries. Good. How about Kareem Hunt? 16 carries, 46 yards. And again, just a great complimentary piece to Nick Chubb as far as that's concerned. He carried his weight yesterday. And I like what you got out of OBJ and Jarvis Landry. Look, Baker Mayfield only threw the ball for 156 yards on Sunday, and 95 of those went to his top 2 targets. OBJ was targeted the most. He had an efficient day, no touchdowns. Here's what I want to see. All right, here's what I want to see. OBJ, he's saying all the right things right now, Kev.
Yep.
Is he going to keep doing that? Is he going to keep? He's saying, hey, I don't care what kind of game I have, as long as we win.
As long as they're winning.
But maybe. My thing is, I want to see it first.
He's not going to blow up if they're winning games and he's not putting.
Because he didn't get a touchdown yesterday. He only had 4 total last year, and it was because of the injury. I defended him, but I'm not seeing, I went at it with you. Is he still injured? I don't know, because it's not, he looks okay. Him and Baker's connected, but he doesn't look that much different from last year.
From watching the game, I think it's as simple as this. They're trying to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way for them to win the game isn't Baker back there playing quarterback like he did at Oklahoma. That's not the best way for them to win. The best way for them to win is a power running game. You have 2 very good running backs and bootlegging them out. Baker's not ready to be a pocket passing quarterback yet. He's just not. Will he get there? I think he can. I think Baker Mayfield is a very good quarterback and has the potential to be a great quarterback. But where OBJ views himself in his career right now isn't where his quarterback is right now. His quarterback is still learning the NFL game, and he can't complain. Nobody in their right mind should be complaining if your team is winning, because that is the ultimate point of the game. And in a crucial 3rd down, we know they're going to go to OBJ. We know that. For the long ball, we know they're going to OBJ. But right now, you have to build confidence. Stefanski's trying to build confidence in the team, and just say they're at 10 wins. And OBJ goes off the hinges. He's going to look like a buffoon. OBJ's not stupid. He knows that, all right, well, We're going to be a running team. And he said that last week. He said that he's come to the realization that he's not going to be putting up monster numbers this year. Okay.
But saying that's one thing.
In his eyes, he can rationalize that long as we winning. But if we start losing, if we walking around here 5-9 and I'm not getting the ball, then you're going to see him be upset.
Yeah, I agree. But that's why I'm bringing that up. You're saying the right things because your action is going to, reflect that. And he is so far. You got the Cowboys coming up. Yeah. You got Pittsburgh coming up. The Browns are going to reach a point where they might stub their toe a few times. It might be back-to-back weeks. Will he be quiet then? Because if here's the deal. You could be good if you're winning games and you're not contributing at a high clip. But that means if you're losing games, you probably definitely didn't contribute at a high clip. So are you going to be just as team, supportive then as what you are when you're winning and not getting the ball? It needs to be a leadership role from there. My other thing is this, as much as I like OBJ, you don't need OBJ. If Baker's only going to be throwing the ball 20 to 23 plus times a game and you're going to be, a heavy running team, you don't need OBJ. There are teams that do. And the Browns need help with their secondary. They need help at linebacker. And I'm looking at teams like Seattle, who don't have a lot to offer defensively, but they desperately need to get another offensive weapon for Russell Wilson. That's why they've been kicking the tires. You start hearing the rumblings of, Antonio Brown earlier. You look at the Houston Texans. I wouldn't wait till the trade deadline. Like the Houston Texans, if they keep burying themselves, they're done.
Right.
They might be done now. But if I'm the Browns, I'm on the phone with the Texans now saying, what do you got for us? We need secondary. We need a linebacker. We need something. You can have OBJ to put with Deshaun Watson right now. We need something. But if you wait till the trade deadline when Houston's already out of the playoff picture completely, you lose leverage to that situation. Right. New England. Right now, it feels like, oh, man, New England has a shot. Take advantage of that now. Go to New England. Send them OBJ. Give Cam Newton OBJ. What can you give us? Don't wait. I like OBJ. And I've accepted how they're going to run this offense moving forward. But you don't. Losing OBJ, you don't lose a wrinkle in your offense. You just don't. If anything, it might open it up. To your point, Baker's best year was with Jarvis as his number one. All I'm saying is it might be okay. And David says, the Texans are finished now. And I agree that the Texans are finished now, but they may not view it that way.
Right.
So that's why the Browns need to call them now because they lose again. So they're 0-3. They go 0-4. I don't even know who. David, look up if you don't mind. David, who does Houston have next week? Or Kev, if you have that. If Houston goes 0-4, then they're done. And then you lose leverage as far as that. I'm all for the Browns trying to trade OBJ because that offense is good enough to win you games. That defense, you will lose against every good team moving forward with that defense. I'm worried about what Dak Prescott and Zeke are going to do against that defense coming up this weekend. I don't know who I'm picking to win yet. David says he feels like the Browns are good enough that he's not impressed with the Cowboys. He feels the Browns could beat them. I feel the Browns have the offense to beat them. But I don't feel the Browns have the defense to stop Dallas enough times to give that offense enough opportunity to beat them at the same time. The Browns need help defensively. Everyone was hooting and hollering about the turnovers that they forced yesterday against Washington. I wasn't impressed with those turnovers. Those were just bad turnovers on Washington's part. Cleveland didn't force those. Not all of them. The strip sack was good. Of the 5, 3 of them were gimmies, and Washington lost that game. Washington could have won that game yesterday.
Real quick on Houston, their next 4 games: Minnesota, Jacksonville, at Tennessee, Green Bay.
The Vikings, that's a big one. Yeah, David, Vikings, then the Jags. Those are 2 winnable games. So the Texans can get back on it, and then Cleveland can call them. That's why the rumblings of Antonio Brown in Houston are coming up.
I got 2 things on the Browns before we move on.
Yep.
One, people are going to view this as a slight, but it's not a slight. The best way for the Browns to win and move the ball offensively is for Baker to be a game manager. People are going to say, oh, you disrespected Baker. Da, da, da. No, that's not disrespect because you know who Ben Roethlisberger was his first 5 years in the NFL? A game manager, running the ball with Jerome Bettis, hitting short routes with Hines Ward. That's how they won football games, and that is how the Browns are going to win football games with Baker as a game manager as opposed to a gunslinger. In the height of Ben's career where he's putting up crazy numbers, he was a gunslinger when he had all these weapons all over the place and stuff like that. But it's the inverse for Baker. He has all these big time name guys around him, but the best way for them to win is for him to be a game manager. And the best way for them to win football games and to go to your precious 12-4 is for them to have 2,000-yard running backs, not 2,000-yard wide receivers.
I think they'll be all right. They're all right. They're doing the offense. I'm not worried about the offense.
I'm not dissing them. PC people gonna view it as a diss. It's not a
game
diss.
manager is a diss. I use game manager for dissing a quarterback.
It's not a diss.
Absolutely. Who's a great game manager?
Troy Aikman.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. You don't game manage when you have Michael Irvin.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
He was a game manager.
Was not a game. No one looks at Troy Aikman as a game manager.
Yes, he was.
No. All right, Facebook. Was Troy Aikman a game manager? Yes or no? And try to don't take your Cowboy hatred and put it to the side.
And I knew you were going to have this reaction. A game manager is not a bad thing.
Yes, it is absolutely.
It is not.
That's saying
Peyton Manning was a game manager.
No, Peyton Manning is not a game manager. If you're talking about when he was 85 and still playing.
If you want a gunslinger, if you want him being the guy that
thank you, Noggy says absolutely not.
It's not a diss. If you want him being the guy that he thinks he is, Brett Favre is a turnover machine, go right ahead. But if you want to win games, this is how you win football games. Him managing the game. And the last 2 games, he has managed the game. They have kept his pass attempts under 25. Last year, he was dropping back all the time.
You know who's the game manager then? Stefanski, not Baker. Stefanski. Don't fan
out on me, Justin. Don't fan out on me, man.
I'm not fanning out. And by the way, Baker has not proven enough to me for me to say he shouldn't be a game manager. I've seen enough.
Not a bad thing.
It is a horrible.
It is not.
That means, but teams aren't trying to build around game managers. When you have a game manager, what teams do is they say, okay, what can we do to win around him now? But you're always looking for your next quarterback. So Baker is trying to prove that he is their quarterback. And I can't sit there and tell people that he is for sure their quarterback. But if they've already viewed him as a game manager, they're already in the back of their mind looking for their next quarterback.
He's played better these last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And they have They have run the ball and managed the game better for him.
They run the ball with Kansas City. They run the ball Baltimore, and they ain't game managers.
Okay, man, because people are so worried about looking at what other quarterbacks are doing and looking at the numbers that they're putting up and everything.
That's how you win.
They're winning now. Play like this. And I'm telling you, he's playing good football. I don't understand the problem, and I don't understand why people get so bent out of shape when people say game
I'm
manager.
not bent out of shape.
People want their quarterback to be Aaron Rodgers. Hey, man, everybody ain't Aaron Rodgers.
But the good quarterbacks are the Patrick Mahomes, the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady.
You can be a good quarterback. He is in his, 3rd year?
No one is building around game managers.
They are building around him.
The Browns didn't draft Baker Mayfield to be a game manager.
No, the Chiefs into it, man. He has to grow into this gunslinger that people view him as. That's why they have dialed things back. Like, you know what? You're not ready for that yet. Let's play like this. Let's play smart, complementary football. Let's run the ball, and let's shorten these pass routes. Let's not have you standing in the pocket trying to make reads. You're not ready for that yet. Well, there's no problem with that.
Well, this was my concern about the Browns' performance yesterday was this. Hold on. Carlton Woods, who, by the way, always has your back, says Troy Aikman is definitely not a game manager. Game managers don't go to the Hall of Fame.
Okay, another game manager, Eli Manning, will be in the Hall of Fame very soon.
Eli Manning's numbers don't match game managers, though.
He's a game manager.
His numbers say
game
otherwise.
Manager. And there's nothing wrong with the word game manager. There's levels to this.
Keith Tolliver says, I bet the Falcons wish Matt Ryan was a game manager. He's a bad manager. He's the David Bell of game manager. Oh, I got to be nice to David Bell. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger won his first Super Bowl as a game manager. There's nothing wrong with the connotation of the game manager.
The Steelers had that defense.
Game manager.
Steelers had,
they managed it and ran the ball.
And I promise you, though, if Big Ben would have continued to remain that game manager moving forward, he wouldn't.
You grow into it. You grow into the guy. The guy. You have to grow into it. Like, I don't understand why people.
The Browns don't have time to wait for that. You have a couple years remaining on contract.
That's the problem. That's the problem. People always like, it didn't work out. Just switch it up.
Yeah.
And zero patience.
I think 3 years for like Baker, if he's still only throwing for 156 yards.
And I'm the guy defending Baker Mayfield. The Steelers fan is defending Baker Mayfield. I want everybody to hear.
Is only throwing the ball 156 yards per game after
winning
16,
games. That is the important thing.
The Browns better be tanking for Trevor.
Winning games. See, you acting like
I trade up OBJ. I trade up everybody to go up and get Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence.
Nobody wants him.
A lot of people would want Obj. Promise you. Yeah. That's not a crappy take either. Hey,
Y'all acting like he's out here playing like Mitch Trubisky. Like, that's my problem, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with the term game manager.
There is. If I was a quarterback and someone called me a game manager, I would call him every name in the book. I just can't do that to you because in the FCC fines and I'm going to break. I'm cussing out Kev. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Let's open up the phone lines one more time. 457-9464. Browns fans, we heard from the Bengals fans. Let's hear from you. 2-1. How do you feel about this Bengals team heading into week 4 with the Cowboys? We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, high near 72. Tonight will also be cloudy with showers, a low around 48. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a high near 63. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle, your local authorized Hustler mower dealer. Stop in today and see the Hustler Fast Track, the Hustler X1, and the Hustler Super Z.
Morning.
How'd you get in my house, B?
Through the air conditioning vent. It's dark in there.
Go away.
How about some Honey Nut Cheerios?
Cheerios. Do I look like a child to you?
Honey Nut Cheerios are tasty and can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet. Did you just
No.
I'm pretty sure I heard a
It was my dryer.
You might want to get that thing checked out.
Have a change of heart. Honey Nut Cheerios. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now apply 2 pounds of force for acceleration. You really turning in 0.3 miles and begin a deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles. Base coverages only. Availability varies.
It's time for Straight Talk, just like football. You want the best coverage with your wireless network without your wallet taking a hit? Straight Talk Wireless gives you the same nationwide coverage as the big carriers, America's best networks, for up to 50% less. Just $45 a month for 25 gigs of high-speed data than 2G with an unlimited plan. No contract, no mystery fees. Don't get sidelined by weak protection. Get Straight Talk Wireless. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
You know that sound when a crowd of fans suddenly goes quiet? This November, your vote is your voice. 39% of eligible voters did not vote in the last presidential election. This election is your chance to be heard and decide who represents you. Raise your voice, sports fans. Register to vote. National Vote Early Day is October 24th. For more information, visit IamAvoter.com.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Welcome to Pipestone Golf Club with a 4-star rating from Golf Digest and recognized as the best course to play. Pipestone is a favorite in the Miami Valley. The Arthur Hills design masterpiece is carved into the sweeping foothills and ancient oaks of southwestern Ohio. The course provides a quality challenge to golfers of all levels, and everyone is welcome. Be sure to call for a tee time, then bring your friends and play America's greatest game on a golf course that truly sets itself apart. Pipestone, a great golf experience.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I have had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time. They get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Fall is all about feel-good food and family. This fall, get a home-style meal on the go that everyone will love. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for a 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Homestyle can happen anywhere with 12 mixed pieces of Lee's Spicy Classic Chicken, a large mashed potatoes and gravy, and a large coleslaw, all at a great price. Get a homestyle meal made easy with our 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
I'm Charla. I'm a Park National banker, and I'm a new grandma. At Park National Bank, we believe that we're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. Now, bringing our family of community banks together under a single brand name means you get those core values you always counted on from us, and more service, more access, and more options. We're all together now at Park National Bank, where you mean more.
David Brandon will make an excellent probate judge.
He's honorable, he's honest.
He's a diligent worker, competent, very thorough in his work.
I think he will take the time to be conscientious and thoughtful about his decision making.
It isn't just that he knows the law, though, it's that he cares and why that matters.
David Brandon will work hard for the families of Montgomery County.
David was there for me, and I feel like he'll be there for other families as well. He knows the right thing to do.
I am David Brandon, and I approve this message.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with RightTrack, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration. You really turning in 0.3 miles and begin deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's RightTrack, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/RightTrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles, base coverages only. Availability varies.
This is time that matters, a window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. This is your window of protection. Schedule their well visit now. Brought to you by Merck.
Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green, the iconic cleaning formula known around the globe. Try a Simple Green product today, and if you're not 100% satisfied, I'll refund your money. Visit us at simplegreen.com.
Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle is your local authorized dealer for the Hustler mower family. Stop in today and take a look at the Hustler Fast Track with a 4-year, 400-hour limited warranty. The Hustler X1, the Hustler Super Z, the Hustler Super Z Hyperdrive are all ready to take on the big jobs. Turn your weekend to-do list into your weekend to-done list. Hustler, tools, not toys. Visit Small Engine Service Pros at 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle, 845-3445.
Try Bob Evans' new crispy fried chicken dinner bow plate. It's boneless, hand-breaded fresh, and oh so juicy. Try it for just $7.99.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kinner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Back to the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
We got the Justin Kinner Bowl this weekend, the Browns and the Cowboys. And that game will be on Fox. That's pretty dang cool. That's back-to-back weeks I get to watch the Browns. I can't stand that you can't watch every single game. You got the Red Zone. I'm cheap, and I will not pay extra. I love YouTube TV, but then every time I get comfortable, they always like, oh, but wait, here's a little more.
There's more.
And for for one hand and a couple fingers on the other, we'll give you this. And I'm like, no. I'm good. I do want that red zone channel, but not this week. It was cool. I got that. So I'm, 2 TVs at the Browns game, the Bengals game going at the same time. Every touchdown for the Browns, I was cheering. Every sack for the Bengals, I was cheering. Just joking. For everyone, oh, he's rooting for someone to get hurt. Oh, that's classy. Anyways, what were we even arguing? Someone by the way, on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page, someone wrote, it's a stupid argument. Every quarterback is a game manager. Well, yes, we know that. By the way, there's 2 things in football that, so there's 2 little, I guess, thought processes that come to how you label quarterbacks. There's the system quarterback, which I think is the dumbest phrase in the world because everyone is a system quarterback. Like a system point guard, a system guard in basketball. Everyone is a system everything. You don't, if you don't bring in a quarterback that doesn't fit your system. So every quarterback is a system quarterback. I've never understood that. But a game manager, whether you try to shape it how you did or not, there is always a negative connotation that comes with it because let's be clear, the only time we label game managers is when they don't have the ability to be big time playmakers. And at the same time, can you win with those? Yes. Alex Smith, the poster boy of game managers. Alex Smith is also the poster boy of guys you can win with, but not win with. You can win. I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes is a prime example. No one's calling Patrick Mahomes a game manager. You called Alex Smith a game manager, and you won games with Alex Smith, but you're winning Super Bowls with Patrick Mahomes. That was good. I felt good about that. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
I was waiting to come back from break. I was like, I got some good ish here. I'm ready.
You are so borderline today on the FCC guidelines we have here.
I'm actually very, very clear about what the FCC guidelines are.
I don't know what they are. That's why
I don't think ish is on the FCC.
Close enough. Close enough. Not while I'm producing this show. They ain't about to be sending me no letters.
You're a radio manager. I mean, I'm a aired out kind of guy. So there you go. You're Alex Smith. I'm Patrick Mahomes.
I just think like some guys have to just grow into that role. Like right now, Baker has not shown the capability to be the guy that we put the weight of the offense all on your shoulders. Now go win us the game. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can grow into that position. There's been tons of guys that grew into that. Like Russell Wilson has grown into, a guy that can win a game. He wasn't that at the beginning of his career. Ben Roethlisberger wasn't that at the beginning of his career. Like you can grow into that. It's just currently right now. And most importantly, they're winning games. They're above 500 for the first time in since 2014.
Yeah, it's week 3. If that stat came out in week 7, I'd be more impressed. And I'm a Browns fan. I'm just not getting too hyped.
Baby steps.
To be fair, I know what you're saying. Now here's my concern. Baker he didn't look like a game manager his rookie year. He looked like the Patrick Mahomes. He looked like the Peyton Manning. He looked like the air it out, gun it out, move the ball up and down the field guy. So my concern with yesterday is although they found a way to use him and win games, that's not winning you a Super Bowl. It's like the Titans with Ryan Tannehill. Like I'm actually agreeing with you that Baker is looking like a game manager. But that's my concern because I don't want Baker to be that. And I think that that's where that's heading. And that's where I'm like, could he, like you said, progress into something bigger? But the thing is, I don't know how you could regress into something that you already were. You were already what happened? I don't understand what happened to that rookie quarterback.
It's a ton of things that can happen. Those the old saying, they get tape on you. They figure out what you can and can't do.
Yeah, well, they had tape on Brady for 20 years.
But yeah, I mean, that's as you love to say, an outlier.
It's not an outlier. The greats, it don't matter. When you're good, film don't matter. Have they figured out how to stop Big Ben? Have they figured out how to stop Aaron Rodgers? Have they figured out how to stop Tom Brady and all those and Patrick Mahomes? There's plenty of film on Patrick Mahomes a couple years into his career.
You got to grow into it, man. Not everybody's going to be hitting the ground running like a maniac.
The great ones are, though.
He could possibly.
Lamar Jackson had no problem.
Yeah, his first season
and his second MVP season.
Yeah. He did something. He took a step up. Mm-hmm. This is like you love to
Baker
say.
Came in the league the same year.
Yeah.
You're making me crap all over Baker.
And like you've been harping on trying to build up your excuse just in case he wasn't good this season. There's his fourth offensive coordinator, fourth coach or whatever, third coach.
Mm-hmm. Like that shouldn't make your skill go away.
That's a thing.
Your skill set shouldn't drop back.
I don't think his skill set dropped back. I just think that last year with Kitchens, they thought, and just like I was saying, like we got all these weapons, we're going to drop back, and we're going to be the gunslinging, throwing it all over the field offense, and that does not suit him right now. Maybe he can grow into that, but right now, the best way for them to win games is for him to be a game manager, and I don't know why Browns fans wouldn't just be happy with that.
Because you have the tool, like, you don't go get OBJ to have a game managing quarterback. That's why.
Well, you got him last year. Y'all didn't just pick him up this year. You have a new head coach, and to believe in your head coach's philosophy, you might want to play like this.
I'm just saying, you don't keep him either.
And Kirk Cousins got another big contract because of this guy that's calling the plays right now. And minus that play caller, look what Kirk Cousins is doing right now.
Well, I mean, he's an aired out guy. He makes plays. Not this year. This year they're struggling. Also, no Stephon Diggs.
Who make plays?
Kirk Cousins has always been a playmaking quarterback. But he's like Baker, where he's an accident waiting to happen, where he can make plays, but it can also throw an interception at any point. Like, I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan, but I've actually compared Baker. I always thought Baker, the downside would be he would be a Phillip Rivers / Kirk Cousins type quarterback. Be able to sling it, put up a lot of, throw for a lot of yards, but ultimately, where does that get you? That's where my concern was with Baker. But let's go. Who do we got?
We got everybody on the line. I don't even know who this is.
Who is this?
This is Russ.
Russ. Okay. Russ, kick us off, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I think the problem with Baker Mayfield is last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was great as a rookie.
I agree.
And I think the coaching staff darn near ruined him last year. I think he's under the thumb of the coach right now, trying to keep him under control to build him back to what he was when he got here, trying to undo the damage that was done last year.
That could be. I mean, look, and that's the concern about what's going on in with the Jets with Sam Darnold is that has that staff ruined him? I mean, there was a lot of expectations for him coming in, and that staff potentially has ruined him. I don't think Baker's ruined, but I think they have stunted his growth. I think that's for sure. I agree with you.
Yeah, they sent him backward quite a bit last year, and I think that they're trying to ease him back into being himself, trying to build his. I think his confidence is rocked.
I do too, and I think that when like yesterday, I think he wants to believe he had a good game. He had a good game. The Browns won, but I don't think he had a good game for Baker's standards. A good game for Baker his rookie year was a 300+ yard game. They still ran the ball. I mean, you still had their running game still going for over 100 yards a game. So it's not like he can't do that and have a strong running game. You can, but it's again yesterday it worked. You threw for 156 yards. You won the game. That's all that matters. But when you're going up against more explosive teams, you're going to have to throw for more than 156 yards.
But he's missing the long ball,
yep,
which he didn't do as a rookie.
Yep.
Because I think that's a signal that his confidence is still rocky.
Accuracy and everything's rocked a little. Yep.
So I think that he's going to grow through the year, and he will gain that back. I think they're treating him the right way, giving him easier game plans, easier passes, get his confidence back, let him start stretching as he goes along.
Absolutely. Basically the way he should have been handled last year. I agree.
Yeah. Last year was so bad.
It was. I agree with you 100%. That was brutal.
I think they've got a good running game. I like that. The defense, they've had a weird defense for about 3 years now, and I think they can get by with what they've got once they get their players back off IR. Once they get Mack Wilson back and Greedy Williams, once they get these people back, I think they will step up a little bit. They're not going to be a shutdown defense, but I think they will be adequate.
I agree. That's going to be key too, is for them to be able to get. They're not going to be the best defensive team. That was like, let's say that this team is completely healthy. And Russ, I hate to cut you off. We're just up against the clock. Thank you. My concern about the defense actually coming into the season was, that was going to be their downfall, and that was when they were healthy. And now they're not even healthy. So that's the other concern as far as that. Let's go to Keith. Keith, thanks for holding.
Justin, buddy, what did you pick up down in Florida? You're talking some nonsense today, man.
Well, to name one thing that I was wrong about, I felt like today feels like a pretty good day for me. Okay. I felt like I was on a roll. I have plenty of notes. If you're watching on Facebook, plenty of notes.
You better redo them notes. Pass them to Kevin.
My handwriting's a little rough, but
All right. If you look at the teams yesterday that won, minus the Jets, Giants, don't count them. The bottom quarterbacks, game managers, you want to call them, they all won. The ones who slung the ball around yesterday, they all lost. Except for the Giants. Don't count them because they just suck.
Well, what's your? I guess we all have different definitions of what a game manager is. What's a game manager to you?
Someone who doesn't screw up. We don't want Baker from last year when we're doing triple dumb, like pumping 400 times, then making the dumb throw because you felt like you had to make the dumb throw. Yesterday, a couple of times I saw him roll out a little bit, get rid of the ball. Good job. Last year he would just, hey man, I gotta throw it. Freddie wants me to throw it. We're going 5 wide on the goal line all last year. We tried gunslinging last year. It doesn't work with Baker right now. We have the weapons. Just relax. Devnovsky showed what he can do with Kirk Cousins, and you see what he's doing without Cousins. Without the OC and without Diggs. He'll be all right. Just relax, Justin. We don't want him back here getting killed. First of all, the line ain't that great. Browns line still isn't that great. Let's be honest. We got a rookie left tackle. Be one back here gunslinging against Pittsburgh and Baltimore. We're going to have Joe Burrow Part 2 up in Cleveland. Easy, Justin. We got running backs. Easy.
Okay, you're talking me off the ledge. I appreciate that.
Dallas, they've been slinging last 2 weeks, and Zeke ain't doing nothing. So Dak,
you know what's problem with Zeke? He got paid, and when these guys get paid, they're not playing as
Yeah, exactly. And as for the Browns, D, I hate to say it, Buckeye fans. Everybody gets mad when I say it. Denzel Ward is nothing. You don't even see him on the field. Like every time he's there, he's getting a touchdown. He plays like. Remember a few years ago, and they had Peppers playing like 40 yards back?
Yep.
That's what Denzel Ward does. You ever notice that? He's always like that touchdown they gave up to whoever that dude was. He got his first touchdown since like 2006. Denzel Ward was like 15 yards back. Dude did a simple slam. Denzel Ward was nowhere to be found. He's a number 4 pick?
Well, no, he was the number 4 overall pick. But the problem that drives me nuts about no, when he's healthy, he's had some really good games. But that's my biggest knock against him, Keith, is that he's always hurt. That's my biggest knock against him.
And I understand he has no safety help. But if you ain't got no safety help, God, just something, bro.
Their biggest problem, too, is how many wide open receivers there are. Like, it's every time. Every time Dwayne Haskins would throw a pass that wasn't to Cleveland, it was to a wide open wide receiver. And
wide open. Terry McLaurin, he should have like 40 catches yesterday because every play, the Malcolm Smith, bro, quit trying to guard anybody.
And on the flip side, like
my old bud chasing somebody out there.
Washington doesn't have a good secondary, but every time Baker would throw the ball, no matter who the receiver was, they were never as wide open as what Washington's receivers were. Exactly. Baker was always throwing to a receiver that the second they would catch it, I would love to see the yak for Cleveland yesterday because I don't think it was high. Yeah, it wasn't a high yak yesterday. I promise you that much.
Yeah, every time they caught it, was like, they're getting hit. But Washington would get it, it was like 9-yard runs. But that's my issue with the Browns. The D is a hot mess. We know that. Corners, safeties are all hurt. So hopefully they come back.
Trade OBJ, get some secondary. There you go. We lost him, I think. Anyways, all right, real quick before we cut this off here, David Shaw says the problem with Zeke is Dallas doesn't feed him the ball. He's right. 14 times they got the ball yesterday, and Dallas led, and even when they were trailing, they weren't trailing big enough to where you could justify not feeding him the ball with that offensive line. I don't get it. Mike McCarthy's never played with a really good offensive line before, or offensive line with a very good running back before, and you have it now, and you're not using it, and it doesn't make any sense. But Zeke hasn't been the same in 2 years. He's been very average for 2 years now, and that's frustrating. I don't know if that's on Zeke. I don't know if it's how he's being used in the offense, but again, that's always the big concern. When they're having these breakout years to get their money, they get paid. Everyone's like, well, they deserve it. You got to give it to them. And then this is why teams are hesitant, because once they get their money, they get you got to give them the money. They deserve it. But I'm just saying, this is the downfall to that. Is that what's going on with Joe Mixon? I don't know. What? Again, trash offensive line. That's really what it is. I don't know what Zeke's excuse is as far as that goes. We'll be back in a moment to put a bow on this show. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
To make sure the air in your home is absolutely perfect, call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning. They're offering $1,350 in rebates plus payments as low as $132 a month on a new Lennox system. Call 937-222-8638 today. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911.
You run a business and you need better wireless. 3 words, no more compromise. With the T-Mobile Business